This is from Biafra'S Got Talent. We are letting Biafrans know the reason why we should remember those who gave their lives for us, those who died that we may live.
You died to end my suffering. You died fighting for my freedom. Your blood is the seed of redemption. You are my inspiration.
The deed no wrong, but then military shots at them. 67 to 70, we remember them. 2016, 38 May, memory still lives in our mind till today. Wonder why they refuse to publicize the genocide. The world media turn blind eyes to our plight. It's time to arise, land of the rising sun. Let's rise one more time, let's rise.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes, those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Ipocha massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Tell them I got that day. Remember when me tell you say I got that day. Yeah, I remember that one that called aspirations. But the way you go like a abapanuku. But them way boniro, me tell you what I look pandi, what pandi samiro, me tell you what I day. For me the plan and the rest of man, I tell you what I do. Me know back and forth, me tell them say what
I want to promise you something today. We must fight together, no retreat and no surrender. We must hold them down till the end of time. The most important thing is that we will restore Biafra. May your soul rest in peace.
I look up to the sky with tears in my eyes for other Biafrans and for freedom had to die. We will never forget you as the days go by. You are always in my heart, we'll never be apart. They fought for our freedom, they died for our freedom. They fought the Nigerian soldiers in the war front without food, without guns, for our freedom, for our life, for our own good, for our children. We love them, our heroes, we want them.
My heart bleeds when I saw them slain. Where will I be now if not then? They will remain indelible in my heart forever, 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 and never, and never, and never.
We serve in your plantation, and the way you paid us back with your bloody starvation. We play in our history that the death of my people is a mystery. No going back to get to a victory. I had a voice now call for vengeance. I never get bombed, I'ma blow like a vengeance.
Yo, we will never forget our fallen heroes, those who gave their life for us. Onitsha massacre, Ipocha massacre, Aba massacre. We remember you. Alright.
Where will I be now if not you? You died at Mali, 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 Mali.
They were starved to death because of our freedom, and they paid the debt for our freedom. Flag high for those that died in the genocide, fighting for you and I. There is pain in the heart, we bleeding inside, tears in the eyes, so I'm following you.
This is for my fallen heroes. Give them a motivation, people. It's like I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Cause we to be a cast, I need to be a nurse. If we did not retire,
They paid the ultimate price. Yeah. They died for the freedom of my unborn child. Yeah. We live for the legacy.
Yo, we will never forget Yeah, you know what it is.
It's like I'm looking at myself in
We
the
must
mirror.
revenge, and we must stand to represent who we are.
Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion.
Fighting a war, knowing the difficulties, the odds against us, there is an element of fatalism, people feeling, well, if the world chooses to abandon us, then perhaps it is better we all perish. They don't ever consider a Biafra not free. They believe in either Biafra free or no Biafra at all. That means none of us living to see it.
I need Biafra freedom. We Biafrans, we need Biafra freedom. For this, I decided, even to die, that Biafra must have its own freedom.
I want us to work systematically towards the establishment of a good, progressive, and democratic society where all vestiges of privilege and social injustice will be abolished, and the rich contribute more for the welfare of the poor. If civil war comes, and I do think it is imminent, you're quite right, it will for us be the price of freedom. Our people here have for a long time been prepared for this eventuality, and I am confident of their readiness. I think that when it does come, that the people on the other side would be surprised as to what they're going to get. And I'm confident that it will not last long.
We'll surely come out as a nation because we're fighting a just cause. Even a little child on the street will tell you this. We shall never go back to Nigeria again. God's grace will surely emerge as a nation. And so, as far as this war continues, we'll fight to the last man.
This is what Biafra is, the end of the journey for a persecuted, massacred, pursued people. We have made all attempts at a democratic resolution of this crisis. I have offered open elections, plebiscite. I have offered just an open carte blanche suggestion, anybody who can find a democratic way of finding out the wishes of the people, let him suggest it and we will go for it.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Another Savior.
Holy, 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 Adimebujuku. Another Savior.
Holy, holy.
If you do not believe in what we are doing, then you better get out. We're not going to stop. God knows we can never stop until Biafra is restored. We are peace-loving people. We abhor death and killing of another soul. It's in our nature, that's how we are. But because of that, they have been coming and killing us all these years. We've kept quiet. They've been killing and killing and killing quiet. We have a case at the ICC. We have a case at Africa Union. We have a case at, what else again? Pending before the UN in New York. We've been to Geneva to tender our case. Before UN, till today, nothing. In fact, the more we complain to them, the more they come to abduct and rape our children, the more they come to kill us, the more they want to take over our land and our forests. And who told them that's going to be possible in our time? In a movement that I lead. You think you can come into our land and take it over? Oh dear. That means you don't know who we are.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us on today's program. I appreciate everyone that has connected wherever you're connected from. Like and share the program to all platforms, share to family and friends, share to those that are close to you so that they can join us on this very quick evening program. This evening, as always, I'm going to be playing so many videos from their conventional media. We're going to be playing some videos, individual videos, and the one that from the conventional media to confirm everything we are saying and to confirm the decay and the irredeemable situation of Nigeria. You know, for a long time, they have been pushing lies against the Biafrans. They accuse our Supreme Leader Nnamdi Kanu of being responsible for the insecurity in Nigeria. They accuse Simon Ekpa of being responsible for the insecurity in Nigeria. But today, as we speak, the Zoological Republic is burning. It's burning. And the situation has become worse. And I just wish that the state of Finland will be seeing what is happening in Nigeria. With everything that is happening in Nigeria today, with all that is playing out, I don't see the reason Finland will continue to hold our Prime Minister Simon Ekpa. I don't see why Simon Ekpa will not be vindicated. I don't see why Nnamdi Kanu will remain in detention. More especially Simon Ekpa that is coming to court on the 5th. Every one of us as Biafran, we must continue to push out every single thing that is happening in Nigeria today. The terrorist attack has increased, loss of life, rise left and center, and the involvement of Nigerian government in the terrorism. Nigerian government and their officials. These were the people that Simon Ekpa banned from officiating in Biafra land. We casted a vote of no confidence on all the politicians in Nigeria, more especially those ones in Biafra land. Because from the moment even the Canadian court gave that very revelation that they are all part of the terrorism. Every political party in Nigeria is a terrorist organization. People thought it was a joke. Today it is playing out. We have seen confession on how they are sharing money, on how they are sharing their loot. We have seen confession on how they are sharing loot, right, left, and center. And today, you think that Simon Ekpa has not been vindicated? You think they will continue to hold our leader? It is impossible. It is impossible. If Finland continues to hold Simon Ekpa, it means they have something else they are looking for. Our leaders are innocent of all the crime they have been charged against. These are prisoners of conscience. They have not done anything bad. All they wanted to do is to raise the flag of Biafra peacefully. Raising flag of Biafra was all they came to do, and nothing else. But these criminals come against them and attack them. We must make sure that we support our leaders to raise this flag, no matter what it will cost. Already, our leaders are laying down their own life. They have laid down their life for us. Why would you run away? Because of blackmail and propaganda. What kind of blackmail haven't they blackmailed Nnamdi Kanu? What kind of name haven't they called him? What kind of name and title have they not given Simon Ekpa? But they didn't run away. They are still there, fighting for you and I. So why is it that we are the one that's going to run away? No matter how difficult it is, we must continue to call on the international community to pay attention, more especially the United States. United States that claim they are working with Nigeria. Any attempt to work with Nigeria is to make yourself part of the terrorism in Nigeria. Any government working with Nigeria is part of the terrorism, including the United States. Any government that decide to work with Nigeria is also part of the terrorism. This is no longer something that is hidden. we saw somebody in the national TV explaining how they share loot. They collect money from the resources from Biafran land. Money gotten from the resources in Biafran land. And they share among themselves. They share between them and the terrorists. Every day you continue to hear about kidnapping, paying ransom, kidnapping, paying ransom, kidnapping, paying ransom. As we speak, they are still doing it. Even today, kidnapping was done. And they are not going to stop anytime soon. That is why every one of us as Biafran, we must continue to speak. We must, no matter what they do, don't keep silent. Nigeria is a terrible place, a shithole, a disgraced country, just like Donald Trump said. But my anger is that I don't know why, even when Donald Trump knows that Nigeria is a shithole, you know that Nigeria is a disgraced country, and you are working with a disgraced country. You forgot that when you work with a disgraced country, you yourself will be disgraced. Any attempt to work with a disgraced country means you yourself will be disgraced. We will not stop talking. We will continue to talk and speak, whether they will hear or they will not hear. As you join us, like and share the program. Share it so that others can be able to get this information and pass it to where it needs to be. We cannot stop talking. The decay of the zoological republic is imminent. Anybody accusing our leaders, you are wasting your time. Accusing our Supreme Nnamdi Kanu and accusing Mazi Simon Ekpa is a total distraction from the people that want to save the country. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Mazi Simon Ekpa's mission was to save the indigenous people, to save the indigenous population. But they took them away to see a way to destroy you. And you think it's about them. It is not just about them, it is about you. And even in their absence, you see what is happening. And more is going to happen. More is going to happen. A criminal, a country that has been hijacked by fraudsters, from the presidency to the local government chairman. In Nigeria today, if you are not a fraudster, you cannot get any position. Government of the fraudsters, for the fraudsters, and by the fraudsters. That is what we have to do. I'm going to play a video that we explained to you. People that told you that they have removed subsidy. They told you they removed subsidy. Their subsidy no matter, but they are paying 10 times. They are paying 10 times more than what was paid in the past. And with all that thing happening, your GOs that protested during the Jonathan, they're no longer protesting. They didn't protest. Even they said they will not blame the president. That is how devilish Nigeria is. Nigeria is a devilish nation, and it drags along with it. Everything that connects to it is devilish. Everybody that connects to Nigeria is a fraud. Once you say you are a Nigerian, that is why if you come down in any airport with Nigerian passport, immediately you are a suspect. As soon as they see the suspect, why is it so? Because the government of Nigeria is a fraud. All the people in charge in Nigeria, they are fraudsters. All the politicians forge certificates from A to Z. Man, people everywhere. Let's listen to this video and hear what this guy has to say. Because there is nothing we can do than to bring this information across so that the world will begin to see how bad it is.
Over 11 trillion naira was spent on fuel subsidies during Buhari's time for the 8 years he was in office. And we were buying fuel at between 187 to 250 naira. Now, fuel subsidy is gone. Immediately, Tinubu came into office. Now we are buying fuel currently at over 1,300 naira across Nigeria. But NNPC now say that it has spent money over 11.9 trillion on what it calls energy security expense. Energy security expense in 2 years, 2023 and 2024, over 11.9 trillion has been spent, and we are still buying fuel at 1,300. Let me tell you what this energy security expense is according to the NNPC. It is the costs NNPC incurs to ensure Nigerians continue to have access to fuel and other energy products, even when supplying them is expensive or results in financial losses. Please, is that not like subsidy? Is that not like subsidy? If subsidy is gone, like people claim, and we are buying fuel at the price you are buying it, how can you open your mouth and tell Nigerians that you have spent that amount of money, over 11 trillion naira, on energy security expense in 2 years? In Paris 8 years, we spent 11 trillion buying fuel at 187. In 2 years, buying fuel at over 1,000 naira, we have spent over 11.9 trillion, more money than in 8 years was spent on subsidy. Can you not see that this government is a government of thieves and criminals, that the administration led by Ahmed Tinubu is out to intentionally suffer Nigerians? Explain it to me. Please, somebody in the audience should come and make this thing make sense. How can you spend 11.9 trillion on what you call energy security expense? Expense for what? Are we not buying the fuel at the normal price? Are even we still putting any subsidy for us? And how can you spend 11.9 trillion in just 2 years? Come on now. You might fool the gullible ABC followers, the dimwits and numbskulls, but not all of us are like that. We have brains that we think. We have brains that we think. This is criminality. All of you supporting ABC, continue to support your oppressors.
Almost. APC. When I do all this about the right, you will be like saying you hate this man. You will be like saying you don't like this man. It could be like saying something within this song, So Nigerians, as you just said, the federal government of Nigeria that came out on May 29th, 2023 and saying subsidy is gone. We are no longer paying subsidy. All they did was to change the name and hike the price up so that you people pay the cost. Because subsidy never gets. You have been paying subsidy. They just changed the name. But that money is even almost, because from you heard what it said, from one year they paid subsidy of 11 trillion. In 2 years, they're paying subsidy of 11 trillion. In 2 years. So Tinubu is paying in 2 years what Buhari paid in 8 years. So look at the increase. Just picture the increase of Nigerians. And so when I saw it, I was like, okay, my friend made this submission on my show. And I was like, bro, please send me material, I need to see this. Then he sent me this video. And I was like, maybe my brother is just, this is Trinity, by the way. Maybe he just was not like the government, and you always say, propaganda and our lives. And then he said, no, there's still materials. He now sent me an article from The Guardian, and the headline is, FG's 17.5 trillion debt to NNPCL exposes hidden fuel subsidy, says Oye. Date 22nd July 2026. Another economist and chairman of the Alliance for Economic Research and Ethics, Limited, Dele Oye, has said that the federal government's 17.5 trillion debt owed to the NNPCL represents a continuation of the fuel subsidy regime under a different arrangement. Despite the government declaration in 2020 that something had been, Oye, who is the immediate past president of the Organized Private Sector of Nigeria, OPSN, said that the liability accumulated through what NNPCL described as energy security expenses under recovery and other receivables amount to the hidden subsidy structure.
You have seen your zoological republic when we tell you Nigeria is a criminal entity. Some of you think it's a joke. The more you shout one Nigeria, the more you support one Nigeria, the more you support your debt. And if you don't get out in life, don't worry. If you don't get out from the zoological republic in life, maybe in death, you might begin to understand what it means. As for we, the Biafrans, we are already out. We are already out from the zoo. Physically and spiritually, we are out. I pity those ones who are still there. I pity them because they are going to pay the price when the time comes.
In the news this morning, with President Bola Tinubu's condemnation of the attack that claimed multiple lives in Kanu State. As Monarch-in-Chief, President Bola Tinubu yesterday described the killings of 30 persons, including women and children in Narigan village, Kanu local government area Kaduna, as an unprovoked act of terror against defenseless citizens. The president vowed that those behind the latest mass killings in the area will be brought to justice, declaring that his administration will not allow criminal elements to reverse security gains recorded in Kaduna State in recent years. Meanwhile, speaking on the elections and the opposition doubts about the credibility of the Independent National Electoral Commission, Tinubu has insisted that Nigeria's electoral body is neutral and is never intimidated anyway. He said that after his cabinet official conference called the meeting to safeguard the credibility of the country's electoral process.
We urge you to encourage elected political office holders who are members of your party, governors, members of the National Assembly, local government chairmen, to ensure that a genuine level playing field is maintained and that focus is placed on making everyone see that the rules and processes are fair to all and respected by all. As a man who risked so much in the struggle for the return of democratic rule in the dark days of military dictatorship, your greatest legacy would be the strengthening of our democratic institutions.
All is fair in politics, and it's important. I think you mentioned neutral. They've never intimidated anyone. If political opponents can cry wolves, then they are afraid of their own shadows and their uncertainty. And they are in the conflicts to keep, not me. I'm ready to let what I will give them red carpet. I will offer them the list to die here. No. We rescue each other through differential points. That is the truth. That's fair development.
Moving on, President Bola Tinubu received an audience the President-elect of the Nigerian Bar Association, Onyinkosola Badejo Okusoya, SAN. She was accompanied by Professor Foluke Lawansin, Dean Faculty of Law, Caleb University, Ezinwa Okorafo, President of the International Federation of Women Lawyers, Hadiza Afegwa, FCT Lead NBA Women Forum, and Ramlat Ridwan, Bold Campaign Team Publicity Lead, on a courtesy visit to the President at the State House.
Well, he congratulated me on the victory. We talked about the challenges of electronic voting and technology, and we spoke about the ways that in which we can continue to improve on our processes. It was very encouraging. Well, my swearing in is not until the end of August in time. I continue to reach out to members, to stakeholders, so that we can work together to improve things, to heal the hurt anyone has, and to just continue to ensure that we do things to make sure that the NBA continues to fulfill its role to society. Everything that needs to be done, I can assure members and make sure that we unite ourselves, make sure that we put our house in order.
The Oyo government has taken the fight against insecurity a notch higher as the state officially took delivery of its long-awaited 2 surveillance aircraft. The aircraft arrived in Ibadan on Tuesday, fulfilling the state government's early assurance that they would be delivered before the end of July 2026. Inspecting the aircraft at the Samuel Laduke Akintola Airport, Governor Seyi Makinde says the aircraft arrival marks another significant step in the government's efforts to enhance security through improved intelligence gathering and aerial surveillance.
We took the decision to purchase this surveillance aircraft it was because of the sheer landmass, the size of Oyo State. We knew that we had to complement the boots on ground. We didn't know really what was going to happen. I've seen people criticize us and say, oh, where's the aircraft? Now they require it at Orire. But we planned for the aircraft, for us to be able to cover as much within the shortest possible time of the landmass. Yes, so I'm glad that now it's here, and I believe we will always do what is right in the interest of our people. Because in an atmosphere of insecurity, you can hardly do anything. People say I look better because our children are back, our teachers are back, and we're moving on.
Opposition parties will be relieved as the road to 2027 became clearer yesterday, after the Court of Appeal nullified the judgment of the Federal High Court, ordering the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, to deregister the ADC and 4 other political parties. The 3-member panel of the Court of Appeal, in a judgment delivered yesterday, held that the trial court was wrong to assume jurisdiction over the suit filed by a non-juristic person. Reacting to the judgment, ADC National Chairman, Senator David Mark, described the verdict as a triumph for democracy and the rule of law, while former Vice President and ADC presidential candidate for the 2027 election, Atiku Abubakar, welcomed the judgment, saying it was an affirmation of the supremacy of the rule of law.
Well, Kaduna State Governor Obasani has nominated Jerry Adams, Executive Chairman of the Kaduna State Internal Revenue Service, as his running mate for the 2027 governorship election. The nomination marks the first time in 7 years that the governing All Progressives Congress has fielded a Christian as its deputy governorship candidate in Kaduna State, signaling the departure from the party's Muslim governorship tickets in the 2019 and 2023 elections. According to the governor, the nomination reflects his administration's commitment to inclusion, justice, fairness, and equitable representation across the state. He said the decision underscores his belief in rewarding competence, integrity, and dedicated public service. Right. This morning, let me address the Kaduna killings. And I recall that yesterday during the newspaper headline stories, he made headline on Daily Trust and he put a lot of attention on that. And again, during what's trending, we're able to talk about the very, just touched on it very quickly, the sad occurrence in Narendran, in Kauru local government area in southern Kaduna, that happened on Monday overnight. Now, the president has released a statement through his spokesperson, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, condemning the killings and talking tough around the response of his administration to violence in southern Kaduna, saying that recent attacks would not erode the progress that has been made in that region. We know that this is not the first time. Southern Kaduna, especially Kauru local government, is quite notorious for these kinds of unprovoked attacks. I say that unprovoked because some, might say, oh, is it this or that? Unprovoked. According to eyewitness report, some assailants came in around 12:40 a.m. In the morning of Monday, and they attacked this community, killing women, children, and for pictures and footage from the assault, from what has been termed one of the deadliest attacks in recent times in that area, is not fit for our TV screen. It is quite a terrible situation. Let me paint a picture, because when we hear 1 to 30 people dying in a community, we as a people must not become sensitized to this. If we complain about South Africans killing Nigerians on their home soil, we should be even more concerned about Nigerians dying in their own home. 30 people, children. In fact, there's a situation of a family losing 5 of their children in that attack. 5 siblings from the same family. We have Deborah, Friday, Yusuf, Yunana, Irimaya, and Emmanuel from the Emmanuel family losing their lives. Their parents were able to flee that situation. What is curious about this case, based on the reports that come out of that of Kanu, is that number one, the operation lasted with assailants coming in with sophisticated weapons in the middle of the night. Number two, the operation lasted for about 3 hours. Number three, when a distress call was put out to security operatives, they came after the assailants had left. So they had 3 hours of a reign of terror without any response, immediate response from security operatives. I believe that the Kaduna, Southern Kaduna People's Union have written an open letter to the Commissioner of Police in Kaduna State asking for intervention, especially deploying more personnel to these areas that historically has been termed as being volatile and have experienced a number of these kinds of attacks. And so it beggars belief why we did not have security presence in that area that is known to be vulnerable to these attacks. That's number one. Number two is that when, they keep saying, oh, and even in the president's speech, if you see something, say something. When you do say something, why is it that action is not taken enough to build confidence in the people? In fact, it was said that when there was no response from security operatives, the people had to flee for their own lives. And this is what we have: communities that have been deserted, that have been left vacant because people have found that they cannot be helped. They have made calls for a solution, and yet again and again the government has failed them. And this is what I want to raise this morning: that why is it difficult to secure these people? And let me just give a bit of context to this. We know that in Kaduna there's a southern part and a northern part. Historically, there have been clashes, and we've had the farmer-headed clashes, we've had the clashes and attacks on Christians in the southern part of Kaduna. I bring this up because we are still in a position where we're still arguing about whether or not we protect the most vulnerable in societies. This one, I give it up to the Kaduna State Governor, Governor Umar Sani, who has made efforts, which was not the case in previous administration, to bring the people together, to ensure that everybody in Kaduna, irrespective of ethnicity, irrespective of religious background, feels included and feels protected. His latest move in moving away from the Muslim tickets demonstrates that as well, because that is fairness, equity, but not sacrificing competence. So you can have competent people who are able to still represent people and ensure that there's a sense of representation for everybody in Kaduna State. Kaduna does not belong to a particular ethnic group or a particular religious sect, and this must be emphasized. Having said that, Rufai, when you're reading the news, you said Mona-in-Chief. And I thought it was the Commander-in-Chief. Is that we shouldn't get up to a point whereby what we are hearing from the Commander-in-Chief is I mourn with you, I condemn. Beyond condemnation, yes, they enumerated the many areas in which there is security interventions, but obviously it's clearly not enough. Obviously, it's not addressing the challenges. Obviously, we're seeing new cases. So it means that whatever has been deployed is not anywhere near enough. And so there must be, almost sound like a broken record, more boots on ground. Yes, they've increased the division, so we'll have more oversight, quicker responses. This hasn't come into operation yet. We're seeing the first phase in September. Perhaps when this comes into operation, we'll see better and quicker responses from our military and the police as well, who are actually responsible for internal security. Number two is that we must have a situation where there's a resolution that is not kinetic, but we can also have community interventions. There is tension between communities in Kaduna State that has to be addressed. And so we cannot continue to come up and talk about news and make condemnations and mourn with the people and even release statements through a political spokesperson. The president himself needs to speak to his people occasionally, especially giving an update on security efforts by his administration. He's the one that has the mandate of the people, not his presidential spokesperson, with all due respect. They can't release statements, but it's important that once in a while. Last time we heard from the president was through the nation's address on democracy day. When last did he have an interview? When last did he give a security update to the people who are suffering, who are crying, who are mourning on a consistent level? I then came this morning just to speak about the security situation, because if we don't address this, we cannot have politics, we cannot have elections, we cannot talk about other matters if we do not have the number one fundamental responsibility of the president, which is security of lives and property. Fine.
I just want to add, Ayo, please, I beg all the candidates in the next election, please, all of you, please, I beg you, debate. one that some people will not attempt. I beg, we need debates. It's not the one some people will fail to pick on to debating in front of the I beg you, it has gotten to that point. We need a debate where people can articulate their ideas. As regards what has happened, there's a pattern. I don't think matching orders are good enough. Because in a case where you want to establish a pattern, matching order becomes mere rhetoric. Naridon and Kamal Ward are bordering Rio local government area. They are in Kaduna, on the border Rio in Jos. And this has been a constant space for attacks. These attacks span time. In fact, this time last year, such a thing happened. I am sure that they released statements to say we commiserate with people, and I'm sure that they said it will not happen again. But the year after, it has happened again. But let me read the timeline to you. In November 13, 2016, in Kanu local government area, earlier wave of border violence, 12 people were killed. April 19, 2020, Kanu, government attack killing 4 people. July 2025, Naridon was hit. An attack happened exactly 1 year ago. Kamal Ward, gunmen attack, August 24, 2025. June 16, Umanji Magaji community, Kamal Ward, just a month prior, was an attack. Then, 26 to 27, the massacre. I know as I say that word, that's what people say, don't say, because they can't stand the word massacre. You know, it's in Nigeria that when 30 people are killed, they say to see people died. It's not massacre. Just like how they keep telling us that nobody died in Texas, nobody died. So why you? Nobody died. In fact, the corpses, people said they saw. The people that was on DJ Suche digging, it's a lie. It didn't happen. You know, they like to gaslight us a lot. They think we are fools. So please, did anybody die in Kaduna? Nobody died. Nobody died. That's the hypocrisy of the country we live in. So if I'm able to read out a chronological order as we speak, and nothing has been done, can you honestly watching me today tell me? I know I can't see you, but you're watching me. Can you honestly tell me that an attack will not happen in Naruto again next time? Can you honestly tell me, you watching me? Can you tell me that an attack will not happen? I have given you a chronological order of how this attack have happened constantly and nothing has been done. This time last year, an attack happened there, nothing was done. Look at Jos. When the attack happened, they said it would be the last. Since they said it would be the last, hundreds of people have been killed in Jos. So can you honestly watch me today and tell me it's not going to happen again? You and I know it's going to happen again. The question we should ask is, when next will it happen? And how will it happen? But I think the part we should ask the government is, at least will the security forces not come after the next attack? Because it's a pattern. I'm not saying the security forces don't do well. They do well. They pause our attack. We are grateful to them. But it's now become a pattern that it is always after the attack they come. If you ask me what are my chronological facts, I will take you to a place in Kwara called Woro. It was after the attack. So can we at least meet them in the attack and save lives? That's a food for thought. But you watching me, can you honestly tell me that we will not hear another attack in Kaduna? You know you can't. My second point this morning. I'm hearing talk about INEC being transparent, right? Is it the same INEC that was quick to rush in the case of Nafi Balagomi
Is it the same INEC that people keep asking, extend registration? No. Is it the same INEC that one of their members of staff leaked a document about the political favor to another political aides? Anyway, the case is in court, I don't want to talk too much about it. They started their defense. And today, INEC has not been able to purge itself. Is it the same INEC that it is one loophole or the other? Is it the same INEC that has not told us if they've recovered what they claim that was stolen or in Odo to the BBC? You know, as of today now, they say we should not talk about that case again. You know why? Those PVCs that were stolen, they fight their way to elections in Osun State. But today, they've not even accounted for the number of PVCs. As I didn't even come out to tell us the number of PVCs. What move have they made to say, okay, those are the PVC was stolen, let's now regive them so that we'll not disenfranchise them? So we don't see anything. So, and now you are coming to tell us that INEC is this, INEC is that. No. You see, it is not for people to tell us to believe something. It is from our own perception. We will now make up our belief system. Like I say, I don't have confidence in INEC, and I'm sorry to say it. And I want to be proven wrong. I think this forthcoming Osun election will start to open our eyes to a lot of things. But I pray they prove me wrong. I pray and fast. Me, I don't have confidence in INEC. So it's not a case of trying to do this or trying to do that. I do not have any level of both implicit and explicit confidence in INEC as we speak today. I leave the floor.
Very quickly, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has condemned the killings in Kamaru Ward in the Kauru local government area of Kaduna State, where 30 persons were killed. Overnight, the people were asleep. They were killed in their sleep. Their houses were razed down. It sounds like a familiar story, just as the president's response also appears, familiar, and if I then say formulaic, to the extent that, well, he has commiserated with the people that died. We also all commiserate with the people that died. He has said, well, the security agencies have been given marching orders to bring the perpetrators to book or to justice. Again, this is what we hear all the time. The president used the opportunity to say that his government is committed to fighting insecurity and making sure that acts of terror no longer occur. We have evidence in that regard. His partnership with the United States, the state police idea, the idea of recruiting forest guards, the idea of expanding the divisions of the Nigerian army and recruiting 20,000 more soldiers, which will bring, our army strength to about 250,000. If you add the about 80,000 or so of able-bodied reserve soldiers who have retired but are not tired, so you have about 3,000, troops that can serve Nigeria. So we have seen that too. But the issue is, the president made the point that it was unprovoked terror. I don't understand that title, which I read in one of the newspapers. Unprovoked terror. Is there any terror that should be provoked at all? The primary responsibility of government is to ensure that people are safe. So you can't blame the citizen. You can't blame the victim if you say, oh, certain categories of terror are provoked, either by any act of omission or commission. The job of government is to make this environment safe for everybody. However, the president also met with the Catholic Bishops' conference, and it was that occasion that he spoke about, among other things, about mission schools, the possible return of mission schools, which I think was the Catholic bishops tabling that before him. But the more major point that he made is that INEC is very neutral, and that INEC has not intimidated anybody, and that all is fair in politics. All is fair in politics. Well, as in love, and I get as in war. But what we as Nigerians are asking for is that there should be fair play. We should not have a political process where people just
use any kind of trick to fight. But the president, of course, made it very clear that he is ready, and is also ready to take on the opposition. And that if the opposition has any problem, it is not with him. It must be with their own shadows that they have problems with, or the uncertainty surrounding the companies that they keep. Well, that looks like a statement of confidence. But the residual point is to say that the president of Nigeria has the primary responsibility to make sure that this electoral process is free, fair, and credible. It is his assignment as a man who is in the saddle. And, he's not in a position to even defend INEC. INEC is not serving him alone. INEC is serving all of us, including the gladiators in the business. And it is up to us to give INEC either a pass mark or a fail mark. And that then means that INEC also is expected to live up to its mandate and responsibilities. Very quickly, still on security matters, let me go to Oyo State. President, I keep calling him president. Maybe it's a prayer for him. He's still young enough, he can be president someday. Governor Seyi Makinde, who has now acquired 2 surveillance aircraft. These aircraft, they are called Diamond TA4N2, I think, something like that. N2MG. And they are said to be fuel efficient. They have sensors, they have optical capacity. They can be in the air for up to 8 and 10 hours just for surveillance. And the governor said the reason he has done this is because of the landmass in Oyo State, and now the increasing threat of kidnapping and abduction in Oyo State. And he said the plan to get this aircraft had been there even before the Orire incident. And there are some people who say, oh, it's because of the Orire incident. He said no. The agreement had been in place, and now the aircraft have arrived. Big landmass, and then problems, particularly in the northern part of Oyo State, what they call Yokeogun area, Kashi, Okeogun, Shaki, yes, I think it's called Shaki, Kishi, all of those areas are particularly vulnerable. So this is a welcome development, I think, and now that we're talking about state police, other state governments can emulate the example of Oyo State, because these are standing assets that will be useful. And the fact that there is a memorandum of understanding with the Nigerian Air Force means that the management of those 2 aircraft will not be subjected to unnecessary bureaucracy. So it will also guarantee sustainability. So we want to commend Governor Seyi Makinde. But of course, your opposition will be interested in the procurement process. Was it bought at the right value? How much did it cost the people of Oyo State? But the people of Oyo State, either in the Ukemo area or elsewhere, will measure the value of that in terms of the impact, in terms of security of lives and property in Oyo State. Now, to go to the big subject of the day, which is the Court of Appeal overturning the decision of the Court of Justice Peter Lifu. I think the interesting thing about that judgment is in the details. The Court of Appeal simply dismissed the June 15 ruling of Justice Peter Lifu's court, which deregistered 4 political parties: the ADC, the APP, the AA, and the ZLP, and the Accord Party. Now, if you look at that judgment, their lordships are emphasizing the rule of law, the supremacy of the rule of law. That the trial judge, arrived at his judgment in error and in a perverse manner. The court was accused of manufacturing evidence that was not before it. In other words, going on a voyage of his own, acting like a Father Christmas, which is not part of the duty of a court of law. 2, that it disregarded conduct evidence by the INEC that these affected political parties had already met the conditions, the requirements for proper registration. 3, that section 225A was more or less misinterpreted, that it should be read disjunctively
not conjunctively. So that's the Court of Appeal giving the smart class a lesson in the interpretation of the Constitution. Now, also the incorporated trustees of former legislators and all of that instituted the case, plaintiffs in the matter, they were told had no local standing. 5, it was also pointed out that there was a substituting judgment of the Court of Appeal, which Justice Peter Lifu just disregarded. Now, this is not the first time judges at the level of the Federal High Court in Abuja have been, sanctioned heavily, well, not sanctioned, reprimanded heavily by the Court of Appeal. But some informed commentators have asked the question, what happens next? These judges seem to get away with it, particularly at the level of the Federal High Court. But the important thing finally is that the ADC now is very confident that it will be part of the 2027 process, having secured another judgment that said, the David Mark faction is a legitimate faction. And now also the rule of law is emphasized. In Osun State, I understand that some of the contenders in the election, in the August 5th election, have been saying there is no goalpost in the Osun election. Now, for those persons, may they now be reminded that the goalkeeper in the August 15th gubernatorial in Osun State is the rule of law. And we hope that all parties concerned in Osun State, will respect the rule of law. On that subject, the other point to make, of course, is that the Court of Appeal now has now set a principle that there should be a level playing field, and that all opinions should be allowed to play, and that there should be, inclusion, robustness in the political process, and that is the Nigerian people that should make the choice, not the Court of Law manufacturing evidence in favor of one of the litigants. Finally, I think you mentioned the Kaduna State, where you say that Governor Ubasani has now picked a Christian as his running mate for the 2027 general election. This is instructive on 2 levels. 1, the people of Southern Kaduna, as articulated by Sokapu, which is their union, and as we have also seen in terms of the attacks in that part of Kaduna State, feel marginalized, and they felt so marginalized under the previous administration, that's the Nasir Rufai administration, when people of Southern Kaduna felt that they were under siege. The difference under Ubasani as governor is that he has been able to make peace with the people of Southern Kaduna. He has shown that they also have a sense of belonging in the running of the state, and choosing a Christian, running mate is also strengthening that. But what is important is to ensure that there is peace, continued peace in Kaduna State, and that everything is done not to promote the politics of decision, but to promote the politics of unity and amity and concord and togetherness in Southern Kaduna. To that extent, I think that Governor Ubasani is in the right direction.
Everything you see in the zoo is a pointer to the fact that the zoo is not habitable by a normal human being. If you are one of those still promoting the zoo and thinking that it's going to be well with you, you are only digging a grave for yourself. All you need to do is to pay attention to information that they are coming from their conventional media. You will come to conclusion, just as we have done. Pay attention.
As unknown criminal elements continue to attack communities in Kwara, the state recruited forest guards working with the DSS, local hunters, and vigilantes have shown remarkable courage and determination to confront and defeat the bandits. Some farmers have been kidnapped in Eju, a community in neighboring Ekiti State, and the terrorists attempted to cross with them through Obo Ayegule, Ora Ayegule, and Osi bush path into Niger State, but on their way, they stumbled on local farmers from Obo Ayungule who sought support and they got routed.
After the day's trading activities at about 4:57 p.m., I tried to adjust my motor apartment. I mounted the bike with my son, and as I was about taking off, suddenly, some men came from nowhere and put guns to my head, 4 persons on me and my son. Fear gripped me, and I raised my head up. Out of shock, I fell to the ground, unable to stand for a moment. After that, other traders came to sympathize with me, but I advised them to run away because they might come back. A friend, a Yoruba man, came with his bike to help me. I told him to just run away and that I'll be alright. But while he was still with me, those bandits came back, more in numbers, and hit me and my friend, and we fell to the ground again. They took his bike too, and they kidnapped us with my son.
I just spent my week, I go on my way going out. So we will attack us for this. I go on checking the ship. We will come to our friends and attack us. And to move it, we will attack us. So we will to 18.
A joint security team, while acting on intelligence, also neutralized another set of 3 bandits, leading to the freeing of 9 kidnapped persons, with 1 person injured and hospitalized.
Sir, we are facing a lot of challenges because those of people that we are talking about, what they are carrying, they supersede what is in our hand, especially rifle. There is no type of firearm that is not in their hand. We need more equipment, such as body armor, binocular, light vision goggle, walkie-talkie. We need plenty ammunition to engage them.
The foreign guys are really trying enough for us. Like what they did for us 2 days ago, they are the ones that help us to rescue those people that were kidnapped along our Toro axis. They have been doing enough security, intelligence work for us, which is helping us, and we are happy for that.
Localized operations and bushcombing by joint security teams and vigilantes have led to the neutralization of bandits and rescue of victims in parts of Kwara South. Security forces have significantly scaled up response time as government doubles down in the anti-kidnapping campaign nationwide. The development comes as a new army battalion has been approved for Omwaron, a strategic step to strengthen the campaign against terrorism and banditry in the region.
You have seen it. We will continue to show you the decay of the Zoological Republic for those of you who doesn't want to listen. When we say Nigeria is irredeemable, you think it is a play. The armed forces is not able to fight terrorism. It's only the vigilante. Vigilante group are the hope of people now. Only vigilante group. They are the hope that the people have. And nothing more. You see?
And a lot of plantain, our land, we are woko. So
we are woko. Yeah, the dog plantain. If you can't have a lot, because you have to do your plantain. Plantain, I can't do it. Why are you going to Basana plantain?
Go by the idea cut off wine. But now we know how now, and now allow. Among them now, down one who had never can name her. And I like can name the hands of you. So, can they come with me? I will maybe I will not be a guy. I know. If Japan, then when you get season 2 again. Eh? So, all the come up with why I don't know why.
Nnamdi Abu, I'm
never put in like destiny. And what I have done with the destiny here. I need that to answer. Because not destiny, and I got that good here. In fact, you would have I other brother was $1 trillion.
And the most is now 2036. Nega mambo zimpahala ndi hana nemeki. Shakalayada.
No, seriously. And I got to do their destiny. How I done a village. That corona.
But that's if we're going to be I want to talk about that.
No, all depends on the ego she did. I want to get that ego guy now. I want to be sure. Well, ask ego guy, ego gives Jack a bit it's not never getting too poor. I got so with it. To answer, Adibo. You can come to do the level again to answer.
Sicilian, I can't
get me here. Because I'm not I got my job.
But I know what one day,
Ị nọ ebe a mgbe anyị chịkọbara ya. Anyị gaa n'ihu.
Ụbọchị Mọnde, personality, anyị ga-abụ ya ma ịdọwa ya bụ akwụkwọ.
Ọgọst.
Anyị ga-ebidozie Ọgọst.
Adịgbo Ọgọst obodo.
Ka anyị chịkọbadị nke agụra.
Mgbe na-asị gị awụcha ọsọ agụ ma kedu ihe na-agwa m?
Awụdụkwa anyị ga-eji apply.
Ọkwado masị mgbe na ọ na-aga na agụ ma. Ebe ọ ya dị Igbo babla ya na neke. Onye na adịghị echeta ihe a sị na azụ ama ụka. Barị maazị Danete azụ ama ụka. Adị Igbo na-achọkarị ọ gasịrị Premier League kedu ndị ya?
O nwere ihe ọ na-agbara ọsọ ya mana ama anyị ga-abụ ya ebe a.
Asị. Jide nwa tụtụ na-akwụ ụgwọ ọnwa na ọ na-eme nke na-eme nke bụ na ihe ndị a niile si ọchịchị etiti wee na-abịa ya nwere federal location nọ na-abanye na akpa ọchịchị gọọmenti steeti Abịa. Ụfọdụ ndị nke ọzọ apụtara ma kwụsịo ha mara ka ndị APC si eche eche ọtụtụ n'ebubo ị na-achọ ka ọ gọọ nwa ike ọ nọ na PDP ọ na-akwado APC onye nwere gọvanọ nwere pati ya nwere onye ga-esi na pati ahụ zọọ ọkwa onye isi ala i wee chọọ ka gọvanọ pụta ka inwe ike ịkụrụ aka maọbụ ka inwe ike ito ya wee mee gịnị ọ bụla gị maazị Peter Obi pụrụ maazị Daledi ị ga-echeta mgbe a ga-asị ya ịkọsị ya na ya soro ya apụ ya o nwere uche nke ya o nwere orubere nke ya o nwere mkpebi nke ya na nwa mmadụ asị na ya nwere Labour Party bụ pati ya ọ dị faithful ọ kwụsịrị ike na pati ya na onye ọbụla Labour Party ya ga-ewepụta ka a ga-akwado kedu ka o si mejọ
to have some Nnamdi e nwere otu onye nọ na APC ugbu a na-akpọ Daniel Buala ọ gwara gị sị ịbanye na APC okpuru ga akwụsị and ile onye otu ndị APC achebe n'otu eji kwuo ị ga-aghọta na ha ihe ahụ nwoke agwụrụ eziokwu maka ha na-ekwu okwu ha na-eche echiche in 2011 mgbe 2011 chere 2011 mgbe a na-atọ ndọrọ ndọrọ ọchịchị adịrị na elekshọn akwụ ya Jonathan nọ n'ọchịchị mgbe ahụ ndị ACN akwụ ya chọkwara ịdọ ọchịchị ahụ ime onye ewepụtara National Secretary Advocate awụ Iwurubadu n'abalị na-apụta n'ọtụtụ a na-aga ime elekshọn onye ọbụla hụrụ onye anọ n'ọchịchị ugbu a na-asọrọ ọkụ ebe ọ gara amabịa ha na ya kpara ebe ahụ n'ọtụtụ eji aha na-eme elekshọn ka anyị na-alụzi iwu gịnị votoro PDP for president then votoro ACN for governor na Lagos State all the polling units I was there mgbe a na-ekwu ya mgbe a na-agwa gị yes lekwe ihe a si mee lekwe ihe baba Sogbe ịghọtago that means onye akwa ọ kwadoro Jonathan ma sịkwanụ onye nke ọzọ ịghọtala na-eme ya gọvanọ ọkwa onye ọ họpụtara mgbe ọzọ ndọrọ ndọrọ ọchịchị as prezident anyị họpụtakwara ya na ACN onye na-ekwu ihe ọwọcheta mgbe ahụ now kedu otu alaeze otu jiri mee enwere mgbe ọ nọ na-akwado onye isi ala na APC kedu ka otu ihe ọ ga-asị ihe onye a mere a ga-ejisi na ọ na-akwado APC na biko ma jụọ gị onye isi ala ma nwunye ya bịa na obodo gị bịa na steeti gị ọ wụghị okene ọrụ gị kwanyere ugwu na-ahapụ ya azụ onye ọbịa ọ wụghị ya ọ wụ ihe ọjọọ ka alaeze otu mere so aghọtaghị m onye ahụ ga na-ekwusi lekwe mkpa otu ihe alaeze otu mere mgbe na-adịghị last year lekwe ihe o mere otu ahụ owepụ ụzọ dịba ji na-eme nke ya bịa Tinubu chifu ya gaa na airport ga chiri ya feri ya aka ya lawakwa ya bịa gwa bịa nabata ya onye gọvanọ na-achị etiti steeti so aghọta ndị ọ na-ekwu ihe a allocation a na-enye alaeze oti ọwa owuru ya biko kedu ụtọ a na-eche ekwu okwu like this enwere mgbe Tinubu were ebe nọ na bịa na-ada azụ ndị gọvanọ ọ wee ego ha dosiri inweta ka ọ na-enye ha then iwere nke dị na-arụpụta ọrụ enwere ihe dị n'ime ya ndị ka ọzọ erekwere ka ha na-afụga n'ime akpa ka anyị gosi machi alaeze otu na-arụ ọnụ na-arụ ọnụ yes ego ọ na-enweta ọ na-eji ya na-arụpụta ihe ọ na-afụ ya n'ime akpa ya so ndị ka ọzọ na-ewere nka ha na-eme ihe sọrọ ha ele otu o jiri wuru blame to Alesoti. Alesoti ego dị na run ọwa ego bata na steeti ya. Onye dị na run. So agwata m onye ọ na-akọ, agwata m ọ na-akọ.
Maazị Darlington na-agụ mmụọ. Ya bụ isi ndị mmadụ na-enweta na INEC abụrụ n'ọnụ na 26th of this month. Ya bụ ihe bụ ọnụ. INEC apụtakwala ma kwuozio ya bụ ụbọchị ikpeazụ anyị wepụtara maka ndị mmadụ inweta BVC ha ọ bịala na njedebe. Mana ọtụtụ ụmụafọ anyị si na ndị agbatịgo ya maka ndị na-enweta ha ga-abụta. Mana INEC site n'ọnụ onye na-ekwuchitere ha apụtara ma kwuo na anyị agaghị ahụ ntị. Eediala inweta BVC na July 26 na-ediala ya. Ndị ọzọ na-enwetazi jizie ọzọ Barịsọ dị ka INEC kwesịrị ịnye ụmụafọ anyị ntị n'ihi na maka na ọtụtụ ihe anyị na-eme n'ala anyị bụ Naijiria onye gaa mba ofesi ọ gaa n'Obuja gaa n'Ogbiri si na a na-emekọ otu a na mba Amerịka a na-emekọ otu a na mba France a na-emekọ otu a na mba ji otu a iji ma mba Amerịka oge abụrụ na anyị na-egwu na-amadụ a sị na a na-emeta BVC tutu akwụkwọ ga-etutu ọfụ ruo otu ụbọchị na ọbụla abụọ a ga-eme ntuli aka mana ntuli aka dị ka a ga n'ogbole ọ dị ka INEC ọ bụ nke na BVC na-apụta ya karịa ụmụafọ ala Igbo ha na iweta BVC a
ya mere na enwere ndị gara ụlọikpe ga ma ha ka ikpe ghọtago maka anya INEC ha gaa na electoral act constitution anyị ghọtala iwu na-achị Naijiria gaa hụ ebe dekwuru ya sị gịnị na ihe a ga-awụ 90 days abalị 19 ka ọ ga-akwụsị ịghọtala ile ndị anyị ugbu a orugoderu aka nwere almost abalị 19 kwa so 6 months meanwhile a na-ekwu na gịnị iweta BVC ọ bụ ihe gbasara onye nwere ike ime 90 days to the election. So ka INEC mebi ọ chọrọ ka enwee ọyọrọ ọhụrụ mgbe ọ na-achị mgbe ọ bụ INEC chairman ka o tighị iwu nke ya ịghọta ka o tighị iwu nke ya ihe ọ na-akọwawo na ọ ga-enye ya ohere ka ya kwado ọfụma na ọda mana ndị mmadụ na-aga akọleti BVC ha ọ ga-akwụsị INEC ime ihe o suppose ime na ịkwado maka elekshọn ọ ga-akwụsị ya ọ ga-akwụsị ya so ebe ọ na kọtụ mechakwara bịa gwa na ha nwere agrema ịghọtago ọ bụ ebe kwuru INEC chairman gbaliriri ụkwụ enwere kọtụ kwuru sị na ha nwere agrema ime otu ọ jiri sọ ha na ihe gbasara elekshọn na ọwụ ihe nọ ha n'aka ha nwere ikikere ime ya so ọ ebe ahụ ka onye INEC chairman na-agbanyere ụkwụ ndị na-eme ihe ọ na-eme mana ewepụghị ya ọwụ ihe aka onye a na-ekwu based on electoral act nke ewepụtara ọhụrụ mana constitution anyị ọ nwere ọ dị ha superior to the electoral act ya acha ihe ndị mmadụ ga-eleba anya ịghọta onye gara court maka ya iwu ejighị ya tọọlụ maka constitution anyị ya gwuo ha n'ọnwa abalị 19 ka ihe a nwere ike kwụsị
ka anyị ga-agba n'ihu maka na anyị kwesịrị ịga gbara aka afịa ọ bụrụ na anyị laghachi azụ anyị ga-aga n'ihu na ya bụ aga n'ebe ọ bụla onye minista na-abụ maka ihe na-eme na mba ọzọ kwuru sị na opekata mpe maọbụ na ọmadụ 98 ụmụafọ ala anyị gburu kemgbe afọ ole na ole n'otu ya bụ mkpagbu nakwazi ọgụ a na-alụso ndị Naijiria na mba South Africa. Ụfọdụ ndị na-egosi kedu ihe mere na onye isi ala mba South Africa agaghị eji nwa aka ya ndị ụlọ nzukọ omebe iwu na ya bụ mba South Africa atụmatụ okwu ha edoga ya na dịka ndị a kpachara ihe akpa pụtaziela ikwu ya kedu ihe mere na nke ikpeazụ a bụ Naijiria. Ụfọdụ ndị apụtara ma gwa onye isi ala sị ọ bụrụ na ya agaghị achụpụ maọbụ na Naijiria agaghị achụpụ South Africa maọbụ ụlọ ọrụ ha ka Naijiria nwee pesentị buru ibu na shia na ụlọ ọrụ niile ha nwere ebe a ka ọ nọ izi anyị n'aka ka a ga esi oge achịkwa ya na nwere ụmụafọ Naijiria agaghị enwe ọrụ mba ha nọghị mana ka anyị nwezie ọkankụ na shares dị na ya bụ ụlọ ọrụ ha dị iche iche ka a gwa ha n'eziokwu n'eziokwu na nwere ihe ọkụchi nke ukwuu. Kedu ka isi ya bụ akparamagwa
eziokwu niile otu ihe achị adaghị ugbu a ọ na-adị nke nwere ihe nọ n'ime ya maka na echetara m mgbe ndị agha na-achị Naijiria ọwụ Murtala Mohammed Gabi Commonwealth mgbe ha gara aga tighi Igbo si ndị Afrịka agaghị aga Commonwealth Games emere mgbe ha due to here emere because of apartheid in South Africa ha niile buru out the nwoke gara aga both the Queen and the Prime Minister of Britain they were around the map ihe agbakasara isi otu Nigeria ji gwa agịrị ma mee ha mere that game akwa afọ na ya wee ebe Nigeria bụ ihe n'isi si gịnị apartheid na a ga-akwụsị ya then ka ọ kwụsị mgbe a na-ekwu ndị Nigeria na South Africa Nigeria supposed ịpụta Nigeria supposed ịpụta kwuo that is mee ihe a ga-eme Nigeria sị gịnị mere otu mkpụrụ ya ndị Nigerian gọọmenti tosiri isi South African ambassador na Nigeria na ya laghachi ebe ochi to ha so na onu nwere mitin ọzọ bụ na akụkọ ihe m na-ekwu
anyị na-anọ gị
Paul na-atọ nwe ebe na alụ ọgụ so ihe m na-ekwu ebe ahụ Nigerian gọọmenti tosiri by this time isi gịnị South African ambassador biko laghachi anyị agaghị na ebe a unu na-egbu isi ụmụ anyị na South Africa ga-abịa zọrọ n'ụlọ anyị ebe a ọ otu maara gọọmenti na-echi eme ya mana enwere anya ya ileba anya maka na ọ bụ ihe mgbe otu a ga-abịa leba anya azụ okenye ghọta kedu ndị Naijiria na-egbu na South Africa kedu ebe ha si kedu ebe ha si kwuo n'eziokwu unu ga-aghọta ihe na-eme ebe ahụ nke a ewere tapolin ka ọwụ lailon buride n'isi ya na-achọ ịkwụgbu ya n'ụmụli ya na onye ọzọ na-ese ndị ije mere n'oge nso nso a ọgwọwo onye Igbo chike ọgwụ onye Igbo so ị ga-ahụ ya so ọ na-adị m ka ihe merenụ ndị ya jiri ha anaghị ewere ihe azị ihe siri ike ha nwere ike ime ịghọtago onye mmụọ na-eche maka ọwụ ya ndị South Africa emeela ihe ga-apụ okwu mana ndị Naijiria achọghị take action achọ ha amamechi ha ihe na-ekwu biznes ha nọ na Naijiria biznes wele nọ na South Africa gụwa otu ha so ahụ ike ya were biznes onye ọzọ ka ihe anyị na-eche ị na-emekwanụ nke anyị na-eche mmadụ ọ ga-apụ okwu anyị mgbe ọ ga-apụ okwu maka na a na-eji igbe agawapụ ọzọ mba ofesi ga dee ya ikpe ga-ama
mana maazị ihe a na-eme na ọdịnarị gana
chere ọ bụrụ na emeghị gị na mba ọzọ enwere otu ị ga-esi soro ha gwụla anaghị ya na send their ambassador back ha ga-abịa yọọ cheda enwere mgbe ihe a mere na Nigeria mgbe Jonathan na-achị ọ chọrọ ime enwere ihe ọ chọrọ ime South African businesses n'ọhịa ka ọ ga-acheta mgbe enwere ha chọrọ ime ama onye napụ license or something like that due to ihe ha mere ghọtago ọkụ oge egburu ndị Nigeria ọsọ onye isi ala aha chiri ebe aha bịa Nigeria o si abịa amamada Jacob-Zuma ma ọra Mafuza bịa yọọ ayịyọ si gịnị na biko ibere n'ala na-ayọ ndị Naijiria ayọ gọọmenti Jonathan si ya na ha gara na ha bulata
mana ọ dịghị ka ihe ahịa mkparị ndị envoy ka ha bịa
anya chere ma adịghị m na-agbalị gị na iche na ị na-emegbute otu njọ ma na ị na-emegbute onwe gị maka na ọ bụrụ na ndị gọọmenti nọ na Naijiria gbadoro ụkwụ na sị na ihe a ọ dịla tumọch ebe ihe anyị ga-eme ugbu a na anyị agaghị ekwuzi ka restore diplomatic relationship bifo abịa onye ndị South Africa onye ha ga-agbachi ike ka ha mee mana enwere anya ihe anọ ha na-eme kemgbe dị ambassador nọkwa ebe a na-ese ndịrị gị ya bụrụ mba ofesi ị nwere ike ịtara ihe ga-eme ya even bifo aga ahụ prezidenti na mba ịghọtala a na-enwe protocol a na-enwe na-ezu onwe ihe a na-eme ide serious with man at the game that go on go again again. And a program, web process. I won't hear there or two, I wouldn't hear much. They will be but again I did even I want to go make good, I will go like an apparent and also. Yam they who it are they enough to see the better than Hala Shimba. Send the ambassador back. But I see how after all, I want ambassador in South Africa. I want. Faneka that's ya geba, I'm not no them. Or did you mama? Oh yeah, that Asia can jam Yakro. They are South Africa, Catholic. I'm going to South Africa, nothing. The way I judge in India. The way I judge in India. Meanwhile, majority of that they do in South Africa. I would need. How soon I was here, what down until the guy? I go with you. Ever down a guy. Look, I think when I to handsome. And when a book for, he let it in the book by the man in the mayor. People know who she happened. But not because how great travelers. I was I thought they granted. All going in on all of mine. With a big one. All night with a big boat in the marine. Had I got him, Bawumba. So he checked in and the Buddha, then the hand up on up, but had I got a time. Without Mamuya, they made him a grand of man. Oh, yeah, all your will come to the group. And what is your job from India? I would be going out and get the China, the Yamanana, and one I got to work. Bacanonia, and one again, a lot of money. Oh, when I got to get lion out. So, how to get nice and I had a move time, but I had a move to one. But I got him, I got by the twin apple time.
Massive talent. Ekpa'S to the Nayaba Jono, channels. They China, way, aspiration. I did see all of it to the but then I go out what I did. Oh, he was or Snayabu Mamade on a bonka, as well. 29 aligned with Nigeria, and I got that. But I didn't hear you enough. When you see a party APC, they go to Lotako, Common, and where you can go to now. Zara, massive. The apple got up. Can't see one of it to be there. Every way to search your party, ABC for a party. Tinubu on a game robot. Tinubu, you are 400 meters space. Each day, could always wait that you can't see again. What is the number? You know what you now to see another Tinubu shop. Or everybody or say, Makana, Bishop will be a parallel. Came with Nigeria. Now, one of your job, I'm going to line or Libya. And I'm going to any good in that form, any what I never start on up when you turn it back for 4 years, 4 years, obviously 5 years, obviously 6 years. You will see any car strike.
Before the next, I need to get a mask. What plan of that is now? If we let me answer, I'm not around. But I think I will why you're doing. I get the chicken, Macana, and I'm walking so you have to go about now. You know, put about how many ways you live Nanyana. And when I go with you, I come with all that with you. No, not Macani. Mandin, I run about. I put where Saturday put a Hanaga strike. It is in the wash. Hey, I'm an open. And so can you hear that corner? Here in left with a hand when they came in. And when I get you know. So, these are the only camp with a wine in a Banagana, a baby. So, if I talk about that, isn't that way going to come like you? So, I will tell you, man. Here they go getting. I could not buy like it. Paul na aja kpọrọ gị emebere ka emere ka meanwhile ndị ala anyị anọ n'ụdị ya na ihe gbasara akụnụba ị gaa n'ime ahịa ga-ahụ ihe na-ada ọ na-ekwu dị nke ahụ na before ewere ọchịchị bag of rice na ọwụ 8,000 ugbu a na ọwụzi 5,000 adịgbo brazil azụ dịka ọ weta ji adịchi amadụ ọ ihe tụboziri ikwu aja gị na-ekwu nnọọ ihe n'onwe onye ga-asị oke owezi ukwu owezi ukwu exchange rate dị Naijiria mgbe onye were ọchịchị ọwa ego ole ọkwa 197 ego ole ka ọ dị ugbu mmanụ ụgbọala ego ole ka ọ nọ mgbe onye were ọchịchị ego ole ka ọ nọ ugbu a ihe awụ ihe Tinubu supposed ị na-ekwu onye ozugbo ị na-eji ama atụtụ so that onye ọbụla sọkwa eziokwu ya zọ ha gbadara eme n'aka mmanụ ụgbọala onye ọbụla ogbe onye nọ na Naijiria ihe gbasara mmanụ ụgbọala na-elekọta adam iwe onye na-abanye ụgbọ eji aga njem ma iwe onye nwere ụgbọala ọ ga-atasarịrị ọwachi so ọ wụdịrị ihe ndị a ka ọ wụtụ ụzọ ikwu na-asụ ka ọ eziokwu ọ gbadara na nka oweji akọrọ m n'efe ọbịa ọ na-ekwu maka ụmụaka na-aga akwado na-ekwu okwu ya na otu ego siri ga ịnụọla kemgbe e wetara na ndị n'efọd ibido na-ekwu ya ndị yunivesiti niile ejighị ego mere na ụmụaka ji drọpụ ọha ekwughị na the number of students drọpụrụ na university because enweghị ike ikwuru ukwu ya university niile ọha etinye ha ego na ego ụgbọ skuul na ọha etinye ha ego oke itinye ego skuul ịkwụchakwara ụgwọ ihe ị ga-erikwe n'azụ nwa na-aga azụ ihe na-ego nne gị na nna gị ha ga-eweta nri ọcha gị mere ụmụaka jiri si na ya na ọ karịala ewepụcha ụgwọ skuul mere gị na-eme ị gaghị iri ihe na-aga hostel accommodation nkọ so ihe ndị a niile ọ kọrọ ndị bishọp awish na enwere n'ebe ahụ agaghị asị nna bịa ochere lekwe ihe anyị chọrọ ịnụ from ọ bụ akụ na ụba ala anyị
ọ sị na inyogo ndị opozishọn na-achụ ha
mba ọhụ na-achụ onwe
a sị na ọnwego onye na-etinye aka na akpụ ndị INEC ọnwego onye na-amanye ụkwụ
ole onye ọ na-agwa nke ahụ
ọ na-agwa ndị bishọp
ọ dị egwu ole onye ọ na-agwa adịgbo na Tohansom section let me be specific now. Chapter 2 of this INEC electoral act. Chapter 2. Ị ga-adị nye nwere ebe proceedings na ọ bụrụ na ndị pati họpụta onye forgery certificate as their presidential candidate na nwere etinye ọnụ n'ime ya. Kedu ihe echiche iwu ugbu a? Kedu onye achọrọ protect? Kedu onye ọwụ? Meanwhile, section 137 of our constitution kwuru ya clearly n'ime ụdịrị ihe a ị ga-aga ekele na anyị. So ọ bụrụ na enwe onye na-etinye anya na ya anaghị kedu onye kpotinye ugbu a kedu ọ bido
ọ dị mma n'otu nkeji tupu anyị ga-agbara aka ya
echetara m na onye izuụka gara aga onye vice chancellor nke mahadum ala anyị dị na Nsụka pụtara ma paadị na ụmụafọ anaghị esonye na ya bụ agụmakwụkwọ n'efu site na elfọ ndị na para dịka ibe ha ndị ọzọ si na mpaghara ugwu nakwa mpaghara ndị ọzọ si esonye ọ sị ya chọpụtara na steeti ise nwere n'ala anyị bụ steeti ise nwere na anyị ịchịkọba ụmụ akwụkwọ niile bitere n'ugwu na ya bụ elfọ ịchịkọba ihe niile si na steeti ise nwere n'ala Igbo n'otu steeti enwere na mpaghara ugwu ka ya kedu ihe mere na ụmụafọ ihe ndị dị otu a na ụmụ a na-esonye ma ọchịchị etiti wepụta ya ọ dịsa mgbe e ji tinye gbasara otu ndị agha ala anyị emekwa na-eti na ụmụafọ Igbo anaghị esonye na ndị agha ala anyị kedu ihe ọ dị gị mere na dịka ya bụ onye faịtịnọs ugbo na 5 steeti enwere na South East isonye na ya bụ ndị ụfọdụ ekweghị ike ọbụla chọrọ isi na otu steeti enwere na mpaghara ugwu ọnụọgụgụ ha ka na-ejikọta steeti ise nwere na
adị chere ka akwụkwọ ahụ a na-agụ chere enwere mgbe e wepụtara level that according to all the federal universities nọ n'ala Igbo si ngwa kedu ụmụ nọ na ole ka ha dị n'anya ekwesịkwa ekwe onye ọbụla unu mee ya state by state unu Igbo ahapụghị BBC a na-ana ugbu a kedu ndị na-anọ ụdị ya ọ bụ ndị ebe ọbụla ha agara gbọghị na ahụ ga nọkwa dị But they were just anybody taking a part. The movie pass that way, but then now never ban a colony people that got the that or wash. So don't think that you may issue can do Macana Libo. No, not Hanaka, or go to Shikan, but I have not dash and not dash and not so all that would have it. But I do not tell people who never let you watch Tigania. They never think that level. But no, that I know, I will leave that I am not a hacker that your own market was that I am not. I put on here. Now you have a car, oh, that is all Sarah. If you are that, I can't see that one come. I can't think about your grandfather or your grandmother, but they are guaranteeing Bahagaka. But cannot pass a hill lawyer. Why they went down on an NBC, a central bank, federal revenue service. Because I don't know what people that would have what they will know. Alabu. And so, who issue. Every you talk at Dabara, Umati, Hagada, I will have whatever. A book in hand, how I walk out. That's the talk. It's a little bit okay, we're what I'm going to dance with that. Yeah, you're not dancing with that. Even though I don't know like this, I don't know like it. I just like Robbie here.
And the man, how come Nnamdi Bamakano get even a voice of the people 90.3 FM. Nkabumaka Sokas connect and collect. Nya Haina Baggy. Miss oh Marama. Oh Marama. Moyano, oh Marama. Sokas, Onumanu Sokas, Madam Elegant.
A beautiful evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. My name is Esther Wanchuku. We do this Monday through Sundays. Yes, Monday to Friday is the evening rush, and on Sunday we have the political spotlight, which comes up from 6:45 till 8:30 p.m. Now, I always reiterate the kind of conversations we have on the evening rush. On the evening rush, we delve into topical issues across Nigeria's socio, economic, and political landscape. Now, what is the essence of this conversation? The essence of this conversation is to intellectually edify ourselves on happenings, all right, in the country, from every sector that has to do with Nigeria as a whole. We look at policy formation and how they actually affect every sector, every angle of government, specifically economically. We also dissect what was said and what is being implemented. We look at the reality on ground. We look at the insecurity. We look at how the government intends to tackle it. We also look at Nigeria's international diplomatic collaboration with the international counterparts and what exactly is the benefits, Nigeria's identity, Nigeria's respect on the global space. These are the issues we continue to look into on the evening rush. Now, what is the essence, beyond just highlighting these issues or intellectually edifying ourselves? The important thing is to keep ourselves abreast, aware. We bring in analysts who have different perceptions from their professional background. They give us their own opinion on interpretation of some of these issues that may be quite complex. The essence, for example, is if it's a judicial aspect where we need a legal information or a legal breakdown, obviously we have such persons with that wealth of knowledge to help us explain in a logical manner and interpret it societally for all of us to have a better comprehension. And at the end of the day, you get to call in, give your own recommendation, add to what has been discussed, and in some instances, correct some of the analysis of our analysts if you do not agree with their take, or even me right here in the studio. We all don't know everything, so we're here to help ourselves in the process. I want to start off by saying something. So I saw there's a particular incident that is trending on social media. It happened in Plateau State. A young man, I think he's still in school, thereabout. He was accused of stealing an iPhone 12. Now, there was no verifiable evidence to prove that he did stole that phone. And I saw the way this young man was tortured in a compound. My God. Nobody should go through that. Nobody should go through that. Now, in Hausa, the boy was saying, Yakuri, mamana, mamana, mamana. I could feel the goosebumps from that boy. Mamana is, my mother, please, I beg you, I don't know what happened. Please, mamana, my mother, help me. That was what this young man was saying. They were using plank. Ah, God, I don't even know where to start from. How can a human being inflict such pain on another person? So we watch what these terrorists do to individuals, and you want to tell me these are not civilian bandits? I don't know how to classify the young men because of a phone, an iPhone 12 that may be fairly used, or somebody just, I don't even understand. They beat this boy, very handsome young man. They beat this boy, they disfigured this boy's face. You see how they trapped this young man, brought him to the compound. Then from asking him questions, they said torturing him, like military style torture. Like wicked. They now finished beating him with a plank. This guy was begging. They had disfigured this young boy's face. That was not the only. They now asked him to squat. They tied his hand, and they brought a white big paint bucket, and they were telling him to use a spoon to fetch, like this kind of secondary. If you went to a boarding school, that kind of punishment where they'll tell you to put one of your hand on the toe and raise your other leg, your other hand, your other leg up. You stay in that position that all your blood comes to your brain. In some instances, you may even nosebleed. You start having brain matter come out through your nose. I'm talking about you having mucus come out through your nose when you stay in that position for a very long time. To some point, you may even faint. Under hot sun. If you grew up in the north, you know what I'm talking about. The sun there has no tomorrow. It's hot. It literally can fry you if you stay in that hot weather for a very long time. So imagine going through that kind of punishment. They now told him to use a spoon to keep fetching water into an empty bucket. Like grand style punishment, man. These are not Nigerian army or Nigerian police. So when you see human beings do this to another human being, and they are not supposedly terrorists or bandits, these are civilians because of an iPhone 12. Then why wouldn't our leaders treat us like animals? Why wouldn't police officers treat us like goats? Why wouldn't the military man treat you like you are a worthless primate for no reason on the road? I was appalled. Where did we lose humanity? Where? Or is it the one I saw a customs woman poured hot water on her maid? Ah, God. Like, I don't know. This woman has a maid. She disfigured this young girl. She poured her hot water. The hot water from her hand through her breast. God, do you know? Hey, Jesus Christ. I don't know what to say. All I know is the wickedness is too much. Do you know that when a woman is approaching her period, she has tenderness on her breast? That is enough torture, like on a normal day. Not to talk of when you even lie flat on the bed for a very long time, especially if you're busty or something. I don't know if you get my drift. It's not funny. Then they poured hot water. This thing burnt this girl's skin. Look at it. And then she didn't take this lady to the hospital. She locked her in the room. That part of her body was rotting. Well, what are we doing? I don't understand. Human beings, so what has what come? What are we? What are we? Please, it's too much. Let's know what we are suffering from. If we're suffering from terrorists, let's collectively fight it, please. You cannot be wicked. You can't take somebody's life. This young man, the mother sent him to school, is dead. Shouting, Mamana, Mamana, Yankuri. These boys were blacking this guy. And you have terrorists killing you in your area, in your state. You don't carry this bragadosh to go and murder them or fight them back because of iPhone 12. I don't get it. We need to do better. It's bad. If we treat ourselves like this, how do you expect our international counterparts to treat us? Look at the way South Africans are treating Nigerians. Like we're animals, we're goats, fed with grass. No respect. they murdered somebody in his room, and you're treating, you're hurting yourselves like that. They see all these things on social media. The other day they were insulting the president. They were calling him a drug lord. He smokes cocaine. We were afraid to call out our president. Imagine South Africans saying that. Like, we don't get levels. They don't see us finish. We don't carry our nakedness put for main road. No respect, no regard, no fear. So if we treat ourselves like this, how do you expect others to treat us? We don't value human lives anymore. There's too much hatred and division. You killed and murdered somebody over an allegation that is not confirmed. That is not confirmed. A woman hurting another woman. You've literally ruined that. I just pray it's not something that they have to perform surgery on or something. Because that's the essence of a woman's body. Please, we need to do better. To be honest with you, we need to do better. It's wrong. It's just wrong on all fronts. We don't know what we're dealing with. Everywhere you're just dealing with one issue or the other, and then man's inhumanity to man. Maybe this is what the Bible says about the end time in Revelations. Because when the Bible says nations will rise against nations, and we're already seeing what's going on with the wars, human beings, brothers coveting each other's property, a lot of adultery, nonsense, and it's becoming a moral norm, the demoralization of the society, the lack of value of our culture. A lot of nonsense is being approved, and people are calling it steez. Makes no sense. Well, welcome to the Evening Rush, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Esther Wachuku. Sometimes the life we used to know, seeing it like this, it hurts. It really hurts. All right. Now, we're on the Evening Rush today. We want to look at topical issues affecting Nigeria's socio-economic and political landscape. The situation in Jos, though 3 men or 3 boys have been arrested. I pray they give them such punitive punishment. They should decapitate them if they have to. That's how I really want them to feel such injury. To be honest with you, to feel that kind of pain. It's better to die in your sleep than to die in that kind of manner. It's a painful way to die. It's a very painful way to die. Today I'll be speaking with Barrister Eze Eruche. He's my analyst this evening. One of the things we want to look into, Balaji Abdullahi of the ADC has come out to call out President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But the reason why El-Rufai is still in custody, they don't understand because they refuse to grant him bail. He says it is complete injustice and said that it is not a democracy in practice. Babachi Lawal says the president is autocratic and not democratic, which is different from what he aligns himself to be with. That the president changed since he assumed office in 2023 from a very simple man who was accommodating and quite a big benefactor. He is now considered an authoritarian who no longer, supports those who supported him. In this regard, we refer to Al-Rufai. In this particular instance, Nigerians are still looking forward to a system of governance that represents their interests. And to them, they think that the 2027 general elections will speak better and represent their interests better than what they currently experience. But there are still divided opinions, divided perceptions of what is happening in the polity. One of them is insecurity bedeviling the country. Despite the assurances and affirmations from President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and our security agencies, insecurity continues to prevail. For example, the Borno Youth Forum guy, who was recently arrested after making a declaration on a monitored television program, told us that Boko Haram and the Nigerian government have a 40-day truce. Unfortunately, what is currently going on in Kaduna, in Kanu, and also in Benue State of recent, back to back, all right? It tells you there's something else on board happening. So the security operatives have been asked to respond to questions as to why these incessant killings have continued unabated. The National Assembly under Godswill Akpabio, Senator Godswill Akpabio, having called out as to why they decided to remain lackadaisical and redundant, to actually constituting a committee to investigate why we still have this wanton killings, despite huge amounts of monies allocated to our security agencies. They have refused to invite the Chief of Army Staff, the Chief of Naval Staff to the National Assembly to respond. They did that last year, but they said they were going to respond in a closed-door meeting. Since then, we've not seen any appearance whatsoever or a plausible explanation as to why they have refused to answer the call by the National Assembly members to give details as to what their strategy is in eradicating Boko Haram. The American government flew about 200 or so U.S. soldiers just recently departed the Nigerian territory. They were meant to assist our Nigerian military by providing intelligence, weaponry, and all forms of assistance with training to see how they can, on the ground, combat these guys and use equipment to mark, trace, and demolish them, possibly through the airwaves. Unfortunately, these incessant killings have continued unabated, and there's a big red question mark. What precisely is the government of the day's action towards insecurity? The Oyo killings or the Oyo abduction, thank God that they were released. But what about others that are still in the custody of Boko Haram and other terrorist actors or activists? Has no one spoken for them? What is the branch strategy to ensure that they're released? Our soldiers have died in the cause of securing our borders, protecting our territories from the onslaught of these jihadist elements, propagated what they consider to be an atrocious religious practice on Nigerians across the country, keeping Nigerians in fear, not being able to close their eyes. So what else is new breed that will take place as the APC, as a political party, wants Nigerians to vote for them in 2027, when the core things that they promised Nigerians, they have not been able to live up to that. President Muhammadu Buhari, former president, when he came back, it came up in 2015, his core mandate was to supposedly clear out corruption, fight insecurity, resuscitate the economy. That did not happen. Insecurity became worse, literally worse. Certain persons were running the government, and Buhari was always not on the know. Nigerians thought that Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration would be better because he was exposed, educationally qualified, and supposedly understands what it is to be ruthless with insecurity. But it feels like it's gotten worse. So where are we not getting the matter right? Where have we digressed? Where are we not getting it right? That's the conversation we're going to be having this evening while we're speaking with Barrister Eze Eluje, who is a political, national, and social affairs commentator. If you're joining us for the very first time, I would implore you to join us right now on YouTube. We're actually streaming live on our VOP 903 FM, VOP 903 FM on YouTube. You can join us to virtually be part of the conversation this evening. Our Biafra'S family blowing horn, asking President Bola Ahmed to actually allow their person to be released on bail, that his situation is actually bailable. I do not understand why the Nigerian government has continued to keep him in custody despite the fact that on several occasions he is supposed to be given a bail, but the judicial proceeding refused to grant him that bail, considering the audacious prerequisite he was meant to tender in court to actually go through with the bill. The ADC as a political party today, the appeal court nullified what the actual High Court, the Federal High Court did with Justice Peter Lifu last month by saying that the Federal High Court did not have the local standard to ask INEC to register the ADC. Completely considered that ruling null and void and said that it was actually judicial ambiguity and there was no ground for that. There have been complaints against Justice Peter Lifu on the kind of judgments he's been given. In some instances, talks about the decision-making process of Justice Peter Lifu has been brought to question. He was also involved in the back and forth court judgments that was given in Rivers State when they were going through the roadway with Bumara and Wike, the different back and forth of court judgments. Obviously, these are the issues we're considering this evening. Secondly, while Nigerians are actually looking at the political landscape to see what exactly is going on, the NDC has appealed. We have not heard their case yet. There are expectations that we hear what the appeal court has to say about the NDC for now, being the fact that so far the court has stayed any form of continuity with the NDC. But right now, if things do not take shape the way it is expected, then what happens? Well, we intend to see how that will go on this week, since the ADC's matter has been resolved and they can continue right now with the party process. But some people believe that it was because Atiku decided to do his own lobbying by bringing out the president's record that he quickly decided to ensure that the court restored the rights of the ADC by making sure that they come on the ballot. Is that true? Or we just had court doing its own due process based on the evidence presented, all right, to the panel, or rather to the courts, while the appeal court decided to look into this matter. Was it, what's his name, Atiku's dealing or Atiku's lobbying that pushed the hand, or could we just be the process went through as it ought to be? We'll look into that. Now, Adam Soshomele has come out to say that the reason why Peter Obi got the kind of support he did in 2023 was because Nigerians were not happy with Buhari's government. They were going through hardship and pains. He made reference to Godwin Emefiele, the former CBN governor, being a tool in the hands of Muhammadu Buhari to frustrate Nigerians because they did not want Bola Ahmed Tinubu to emerge as the president of the All Progressives Congress in 2023. And so they decided to frustrate Nigerians. That it was that anger that made Nigerians vote for Peter Obi. We're going to look into that. Is that true? I mean, we say that that was the reason why Peter Obi was considered an alternative to an existing or continuity of the All Progressives Congress? Because right now they feel that the NDC's presidential candidate is not a threat to them. Ladies and gentlemen, again, like I said, these are the issues that Barrister Eze Eluche will be speaking or having to give us details on today. Now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu gave us an update on giving an order to the security agencies on the recent Kaduna killings that took place yesterday. We're also looking at the space to see how far and how well those killings were investigated as soon as possible to ensure that the perpetrators of that injustice are brought to book. We also have a situation where Sunday Igboho decided to tell us precisely how he was able to escape the onslaught of the Nigerian DSS security agency when they came to his residence to attack him. He said he almost dared to be arrested, but he felt they were going to murder him, so he left. Then they killed somebody, and then they caught a cat, saying the cat was him. All of that was not true. They brought in a fake herbalist. He said all of those insinuations by the security agencies were not true. Nigerians were asking him, why exactly are you saying this? You're alive, you're here, and you're free, and you're supporting the government of the day. So what precisely is the essence of this detail? Some persons felt that Sunday Igboho has become politicized and no longer the activist that was fighting for true identification of the Yoruba nation. In fact, there were talks that he was being sponsored by the president, although he has come out to debunk all of those insinuations against him. The Kaduna State Governor, Sani, is saying that he wants to bring back balance in the state, so his deputy is going to be a Christian and not a Muslim. According to Basani, he believes that he's not supporting the Muslim ticket because Nigeria is not a Muslim nation. Nigeria is a secular nation, and so to maintain that form of identification and not have a situation where you're having Muslim tickets from the federal and across most of the state governments, especially in the north, the fragile situation in the country, and to bring in peace and harmony and due representation in Kaduna State, he is bringing a Christian vice president, a Christian deputy governor rather. But who that person is, he has not disclosed. According to him, he wants to prevent the pressure of Nigerians having to toll that person or check out that person. Well, we're going to be looking into this in the course of the conversation this evening while I try to contact Barrister Eze Eluche. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. I currently have Barrister Eze Eluche joining me via the telephone. Barrister Eze Eluche, good evening. How are you, sir? Yeah, thank you very much, Barrister Eze Eluche. Barrister Eze Eluche, very quickly. We recently had the situation with the ADC. Apparently, the court has asked that the Federal High Court judgment be notified, and right now the ADC has been restored. Everything about them is being put together. That of the NDC, we don't know yet, is currently in limbo. But there was something that was said by the appeal court, while they overturned the judgment of the Federal High Court. According to the appeal court, and it's not just the ADC, other political parties as well, the Accord Party, the Action Alliance, the Action People's Party, the Zenith Labour Party, all these parties that were listed, apparently they're meant not to be deregistered based on the appeal court judgment today, a unanimous judgment delivered by a 3-member panel led by Justice Abba Mohammed. The court held that the Federal High Court lacked the jurisdiction to entertain the matter in the first place, and that the court consequently set aside the entire judgment, nullified the order directing INEC to register the affected political parties. So if the Federal High Court lacked the jurisdiction to entertain the matter, why was that matter entertained by the Federal High Court then?
It's so sad that under what is supposed to be a democratic dispensation, we are having the abuse of the judiciary. The executive is using the judiciary to play politics. We've not had it this bad ever. In all the years of going back to the military, we never had a bastardization of the judiciary as much as we've had it under the Tinubu regime. There seems to be this clause by this APC government of Kanu to reduce Nigeria to a one-party state. All opposition parties that have clouds, that have any national semblance, are destroyed, and they are destroyed in what vicious manner. Initially it was PDP, then it became the Labour Party, then when opposition leaders coalesced under the ADC, the focus was on the ADC. But now that they have been moved also to the NDC, there is also effort to destroy the NDC. It is quite unfortunate. And I just hope that the political regime will realize the danger they have is forcing on Nigeria, because Nigeria can never be one party state. And any effort to reduce us to a one party state will be resisted by the people. Nigeria is multi-religious, multi-ethnic, and diverse country. We cannot be put under one party. The area that Tinubu understands this reality is better for him and his cause. Thank you very much.
So, okay. How is Tinubu the one playing the role here? Somebody sent a switch to the Federal High Court to entertain the matter. The court ought to have told the plaintiff that this matter cannot be entertained here. It is not within our jurisdiction to entertain this matter. I mean, Justice Peter Lifo and the likes ought to know better, but they did not do so. Now, this Justice Peter Lifo had been called up on several occasions. He was also part of the judges that influenced the back and forth, different court judgments in River State during the River State's state of emergency imposed, where you had different court judgments from Wike's group and Fubar's group. So if the FG, the Federal High Court, actually lacked the jurisdiction to entertain the matter, was it not in their place to tell the plaintiff that we do not have the jurisdiction to entertain this matter? Possibly go to the appeal court or something, educate them in case they do not know. So you did that. You passed the judgment. Now, remember that during the judgment, it was also a 3-man panel. But one of the justices said no to this, that it was an internal party issue. 2 of them went ahead to say it was in their place to do that, so there is no anarchy. I don't understand how they thought anarchy was going to take place. So, sir, I'm not a legal practitioner. The talks that are legal, legal terms or templates have become so ambiguous that even the lawyers right now don't even know how to break it down to a logical reasoning or interpretation to non-legal practitioners. So help us understand this analogy.
Now, the reality is this: for quite a while, the judiciary has been bastardized. They have been reduced from a level where it was based on entry to the judiciary for appointment was based on prowess, legal prowess, the ability, recommendability of legal practitioners to act as judges, or those who are known for integrity to be promoted as judges. That was Ekpa. Of recent, there has been the sexualization of the judiciary. What do I mean? People get appointed to be judges, not based on any merit whatsoever, but rather based on
appointment when it's playing political decisions. So when you are discussing the law, you don't most of these cases are not even judged or given the ruling are not based on law. They are based on what the political leadership wants. When you have a decision whereby the minister of the entity is saying giving house keys to judges of Supreme Court on because of a deal, what do you expect? So when I say the judiciary has been bastardized, it has never been as bad as what Tinubu has turned it into. He's trying to capture the security forces. He also wants to capture the National Assembly. He also wants to capture the judiciary. So the kind of judgment you are seeing is not something that can be discussed based on law, because the law is very distant from most of these judgments. Even the judgment that brought Mr. Bola Tinubu as the president of Nigeria is not a legal judgment. It's not a judgment based on law, because it was based on law. Mr. Tinubu will not be the president today. It did not go to the president in Abuja, which is the core criteria of becoming president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So let us not use this, what is going on now, to abuse the entirety of Nigerian judiciary. It's a selected judges who are put in place a system to rubbish this system. And what you have the court of appeal coming in to balance the equation, to tell them when they are wrong, to right wrong. But unfortunately, when this is the court of appeal, it goes back to the Supreme Court, which is filled with judiciary, with political appointees. Like the one who are in Imo State now continue to suffer the indignity which has been imposed on Imo State by the current Supreme Chief Justice of Nigeria. She was the head of the panel that appointed who was the man as governor of Imo State. A man who did not come first, he didn't come second, he didn't come third, but became fourth in the election. And for very illegal reasons, he was appointed. So please, nobody should use what is going on in the judiciary now to condemn the legal profession. We have, like, most of Nigeria also been gathered and are seeking liberation. But will we be liberated? Yes. Because if Nigeria continues in downward spiral, we are finished. So when you keep on asking this, based on this law, what this is not law. It's not law. It is politics. Where you have some dungeons they used to play politics. And unfortunately, it is a very, very sad development. Because once the judiciary has been bastardized, it becomes a state of anarchy. A state whereby whatsoever the president wants, he gets. There will be a time when it will not work. Hopefully, for the 2022 election, this whole scenario will have to change. Otherwise, those who are people celebrating what is Supreme Court, what they have got as rule with the ADC, they don't know that they're doing because that is ahead. And like you rightly pointed out in your intro, there is also the issue of National Democratic Congress. Why is it that it's only these two key opposition parties that these characters are trying to destroy? And you don't hear about any action, any investigation against the APC, because the system has been corrupted and bastardized. And that is very sad. But it cannot work. Because if it works, this Nigeria will be dead. And we're not going to die. Nigeria will move back home, Nigeria will triumph, and this evil must come to an end. Hopefully by 2027. Thank you very much.
Okay. So Atiku Abubakar, the ADC presidential candidate, is really not leaving the neck of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Atiku lately has really been going all out against President Tinubu. So Atiku is saying that the reason why there is worsening insecurity in Nigeria is because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration is allegedly underfunding key security institutions despite budgetary provisions approved by the National Assembly. Atiku was making this allegation while reacting to recent remarks by Senate Chief Whip, Senator Mohammed Tahir Mungono, concerning the implementation of the 2026 national budget. According to the former vice president, the senator's comments have reinforced concerns repeatedly raised by opposition figures over the handling of public finances and budget execution by the federal government. Now, Barrister Eza, this administration has really budgeted a lot of money for security. In fact, despite the fact that most of the agencies, ministries, and parastatals were hugely underfunded, that is, based on what was appropriated, they got less than 10% of it last year, but they said the security was really giving more money. The Nigerian army salaries were increased, the Nigerian Air Force, including the police, that they were the ones who actually enjoyed funding. So, right now, would you agree with what Atiku is saying, that it's underfunding that is causing insecurity because there is starvation in the country?
Well, thank you very much. I have to be grateful for the presence of Mr. Atiku and Mr. Bitobi for this discovery on it.
Oh, okay.
I know something generally.
Okay.
Generally, because they are the ones who are championing what people really want to be doing. Check the radicality of the party movement. Yeah. So with regard to what Atiku said, the answer is, I fully agree with it. Because from the budgetary allocation, the issue is not allocation for defense. Because the humongous percentage of the national budget is allocated to defense.
Yes.
But the problem is how is this money utilized? How much of it gets released for the purpose it was meant for? How much of it gets pocketed by elements within the regime to use on such issues as the boy movement and other political issues? So the military is grossly underfunded. The budget that the National Assembly appropriates for the defense sector hardly gets to them. We have seen videos of the ration, the food ration, given to the soldiers who have sacrificed their lives, risking themselves in the push for Nigeria. It is not what some of us people need to adopt. But this is the ration that the Nigerian government gives to soldiers, because the funds that should be given have been diverted or have been misappropriated for political purposes. So yes, to some extent, Mr. Atiku is right. Not what the military is not only what is due to them, but it's not due to lack of funding, but it's due to misappropriation. And finally for Nigeria, the current APC regime of Bola Tinubu has positioned its supporters in various agencies that should take this appropriation of funds, ranging from the EFCC to the ICPC and other monitoring or regulatory agencies that take place when funds are appropriated. They don't do that. Rather than be going after maybe a good boy who lives on the street, or going after those who are like opposition elements, opposition members, and they will not be able to correct the problem. So the country does not get what is due to them, but basically due to misappropriation. Not that the money has not been allocated. And then when you allocate money and it doesn't get where you get to, it has basically been misappropriated. And that grammar misappropriated is when you or a budget is just big English for stealing. Because when a budget is high, it becomes law. And if the budget provides for a specific kind of funding and it's sent to somewhere else, the money has, in practical terms, been stolen. So what we are having is a huge movement period by this current regime. Thank you very much.
All right, Barrister, I don't know if you heard that this month, in July, Nigerian Vice President Kashim Shettima led a high-level delegation of state governors to the Republic of Benin to peer review the successful Glo Jibe Industrial Zone model. The idea is Nigeria is learning, from the Benin Republic how to link agricultural production directly with manufacturing and value addition for cotton, cashew, and soybean. So basically, it's for agriculture, raw material processing. Nigeria wants to adopt Benin's strategy of processing local raw commodities into finished export goods instead of exporting raw materials. Okay, the delegation evaluated how Benin successfully attracts private investments to run structured industrial parks, and the leaders are exploring how integrated farming and industrial zones can stimulate youth employment and non-oil exports back in Nigeria. Now, critics have come out to ask that, seriously, Nigeria is learning how to supposedly link local processing into raw materials from Benin Republic? Okay, why should it be those high delegation? Why not students from federal agricultural technology schools? This is one of the ways through which they can learn. They call it a means through which monies are being diverted, waste of funds of all countries, Benin Republic. Can't Nigeria learn from anyone? If there is something Benin Republic is doing right and Nigeria feels they can learn that model, is it wrong for the Nigerian government to go check it out?
Thank you very much. This regime, I have repeatedly stated, is shameless. And they want to drag Nigeria down the path of infamy and shamelessness. Benin Republic has a population of maybe less than the size of Lagos State. Benin Republic is no match for Nigeria. Many entrepreneurs in Nigeria would have thought those government officials when they went to waste public funds in Benin Republic. And I believe most of them went there basically because of the Ekpa'S. So they're going to collect thousands of dollars in Ekpa'S for traveling to Benin Republic. I mean, their shamelessness is insulting.
So you think it's a shameless act? Because they were accompanied by state governors, Abdulrazak of Abdurrahman Abdulrazak of Para, Hope Uzodinma of Imo State, Umar Namada of Jigar, Umaru Diko Rada of Katsina, Caleb Utwang of Plateau, and Daudan Lawal from Zamfara. So you think it's extra they went there for and not to learn and implement it in their various states?
What are they learning there? I mean, I think they're shameless and they're going there for the Ekpa'S. I mean, maybe they need to just travel out and maybe discuss politics in a private cocoon. I mean, what are they going to learn from that? They're going to be taught being found in Nigeria. Because we have a lot of entrepreneurs in Nigeria who have taught them what they make them like. What are they like? If you look at the vision of what they were doing there, it was just like a jamboree, moving around, disturbing people walk by those plants who were walking. Because nothing comes out of this. Because the whole of the year is ridiculous. It's preposterous. The Republic depends on Nigeria. If we shut the border of Nigeria, the Republic will collapse. Because most of the oil they get in their country is oil and food that is stolen from Nigeria through the border. So how low can they be in this country? I would not be surprised if this delegation finds a way to go to Mexico, right? Or Kanu and which has a population of less than 1 million, to go and learn what are they saying that they cannot hear or they cannot be taught by even street vendors in Nigeria, by those who operate aqua farms in various villages in Nigeria. It's really a huge shame. And even the irony is this: when they go on this jamboree, the foreigners who they are coming to know them. They know that this is just a rules to win public fund. Because they stop the workers in those plants and they come out and nothing. And one thing is this: for one, they didn't need to carry my own governor and one of the districts because they only need for local runs. Now he's going on one trip with the president on the presidential trip, which is good. Even if it's very public, he's gonna have something. When they go to London and other places, they don't remember about Motor Paper. But the reality is this guy will never tire of his own and there was absolutely no need to go on that trip. Whatever they went there to think they were going to learn under the top there by Nigerians and it's but even Nigerians on the street for goodness sake. Very well, they don't tire of this kind of American place or jamborees and then they will do more, they will do one. But I don't believe they went there for a good meeting. And they are the guys of
Barrister Eze, I don't know if you've seen a video, and again, the political season is getting heated up. There are issues within the APC, there are issues within the ADC, APC, there are issues within the NDC. Each party just knows how they're trying to package themselves. Now, today, Governor Oboweri's protocol aide was stabbed as violence blocked Delta APC stakeholders meeting. They had a stakeholders meeting, and his protocol aide was stabbed. I mean, it's actually scary if they can do this amongst themselves, like they're APC. So imagine how the 2027 elections will be if this is already taking place. Last week, NURTW officials were just slashing themselves like they're all animals or something. So what are we dealing with here? Over what? Nobody can do it in their stakeholders meeting. All of a sudden, if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see that video. I think Sahara TV posted it where they were taking up chairs, hitting themselves. If this is what we're seeing in our political space, how do we now say these individuals have the interests of the people at heart?
Thank you very much. The reality is we are seeing the struggles of a decayed empire, of a decayed regime that wants to hold on to power at all costs. They have claimed they have 35, 36, or 31 governors in their city. They hold the instruments of coercion, the police, the military. They have the judiciary. They have the INEC. Until you see desperation in everything in the APC is doing, because they feel that this is their dying day. So we'll experience more and more of this airline because they are very desperate, and it's across the country. But Nigerians should realize that we have to sacrifice and fight for our dignity. We cannot continue in this way we are going under this regime. Those who were in the middle at the beginning of the Tinubu regime have become part of the abject poor. I mean, it's so sad. We should ask ourselves, 2-3 years ago when the regime came, what you can afford, can you still afford it? And if the answer is no, it is applied to millions of Nigerians. More over 100 Nigerians have been dragged down the poverty line. So what you see is just doing by all this that you see repeated all across the country is desperate for power. And the Nigerians must tell them that yes, you can do what you have to do. You have all the instrumentalities of the state, but it's not going to work. It simply cannot work. Because for them to succeed, that means the country will be dead. And we cannot, Nigeria is a great country. Nigerians are great people. And we have to restore our dignity. We have to restore ourselves. And that's why they stop to in confidence. So the bottom line is there will be more of this. Sadly, some people may have to give up because there will be several people playing and all that stuff. But we have to protect. And let me also remind that.
Oh wow, I think we're having a network situation. I'll try to call Barrister Ezebichi, but first of all, let's take a very short break because the next question I wanted to ask him was about the Minister of Works, Mr. David Umahi. So the Southern Kaduna People United Association, Mary Habila is from there. They allege that the Minister of Works, David Umahi, threatened their national president, engineer Tabara Samuel Kato, following the group's lawsuit seeking an independent investigation into the controversial death of 26-year-old nurse Mary Habila. So there was an emergency press conference today, and they claimed that Umahi called Kato via WhatsApp at about 9:39 a.m. on July 28, which is today, after learning of the suit and a television interview of the president granted on a monitor television program on Sunday. So the group, the Kaduna People's United Association, they held an interview on Channels Television on Sunday. So according to Kato, the minister identified himself during the call before allegedly issuing threats over the legal action. That the minister said, let me read it out, "I am David Umahi, the Honorable Minister of Works. I saw your suit against me. You need money, right? I will teach you a lesson of your life, such that you will learn never to mess with a person like me. I will give you 10 lawsuits. People are mourning, and there you are taking me to court. I will deal with you." This was what Kato quoted the minister saying before hanging up. So they condemned the alleged remarks, describing them as threats and intimidation aimed at discouraging the group from pursuing legal action over Habila's death. So Nigerians are wondering, how come David Umahi still has the temerity to threaten people over the death of this young woman. Does he believe that the matter should be swept under the carpet without due diligence being done about this matter? We'll take a very short break, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back, and Barrister Eze will be speaking with us thereafter.
You are listening to your number one station, the Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Do not touch that dial.
Parents, you've worked hard to give your child the very best future. With a 90% graduate employment rate in the first 6 months of graduation, that future can be right here at Lancaster University, Ghana, the only British branch campus in sub-Saharan Africa. The same globally recognized UK degree, accredited to the highest international standards, all within a modern learning environment. Applications are now open. Visit lancaster.edu.gh to apply today. Lancaster University, Ghana, a global degree at your doorstep.
Number one sugar down. Voice of the People, 19.3 years old. Latest. How is it dark and never build a job? It will worry you as it affect your business. So much on don't call. Imagine say you wake up for morning, light no shake, fridge don't block, business no get wahala, everything they okay. No be dream with your haku. Now you the thing to your light. You have to sell gas cooker, freezer, fridge, and then go furnish you with modern kitchen or whether na inverter, batteries, panels, smart street lights, in a solar AC system where you want use for house, business, and for industrial work. You have to start gym to help you. Bye to never be no. No wait till transformer go spoil again. Oh yeah, run call you Haku for 070-121-30260 or 080-324-82573 or you fit to call 080-669-60066 for Lagos. We get for shop F1179 Industrial Section or Joalaba International Market or shop T6 Electronic Section. Alaba International Market, 8th line, Uti Oboji Plaza, Abuja Office na Corporate 13, Dubai International Market, back of Kings Village, Kanu District, Abuja. For Port Harcourt, we're there for number 51, Opuro Road, Eziowa Electric Center, for River State. Yohako, website, na www.yohakoproducts.com, online store, na www.yohakostore.com. Yohako, from sun to earth, we can make your mind take over.
Welcome back. This is still the Evening Rush right here on Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. Barrister Eze Richard, thank you for staying with us on the line. Barrister, very quickly, before I head on to Nasir El-Rufai's matter, the Southern Kaduna People's United Association, they have alleged that the Minister of Works, Mr. David Umahi, threatened their national president. So the national president was on Channels Television on Sunday, I think Sunday evening thereabout, and that they said they were going to write a suit. They were going to sue the Minister of Works, Mr. David Umahi, for their daughter, Mary Habila, the nurse who passed on, and they're asking for an independent investigation. Now, this Southern Kaduna People's United Association said that David Umahi called him at 9:39 a.m. today and identified himself as Dave Umahi, the Honorable Minister of Works, that he saw the suit against him and he, like, you need money, right? I will teach you a lesson of your life such that you will learn never to mess with a person like me. I will give you 10 lawsuits. People are mourning and there you are taking me to court. I will deal with you. This was what this man said that David Umahi said to him. So the group are reiterating their demand for proper independent autopsy to clear all doubts surrounding the circumstances of her death, rather than a hurried burial without proper medical answers. Now, here is the thing, Barrister Eza. The father of this girl says he doesn't want any autopsy on his daughter. He wants her to just be buried. David Umahi was even the one who initially suggested by himself, despite the fact that he is a, well, supposed, I don't know what's the term that you use for such a person who is at the center of this incident, this unfortunate incident. And he said he demanded that an autopsy should be carried out. He also made statements that this girl is like a daughter to him. She stayed with him for 3 years, said that he's been treating her, she has a medical condition, that he just won't pay the last tranche of money. Some Nigerians do not believe it. They believe that it's an extracurricular activity, that role that she was playing for Mr. David Umahi. But however, how would you react to this development by this Southern Kaduna leader?
Thank you very much. This whole episode is so disheartening. It shows how weak and professional the law enforcement agencies in Nigeria and the police in particular under the current Inspector of Police principles. Because we have in this instance, we have a death, a suspicious death in a private residence. So the autopsy should be in most civic countries. Autopsy is automatic. Automatic. It does not be the father, the mother, or whoever has deciding what kind of way, whether he wants to or doesn't want to. The suspicion that it is the duty of the state to unravel the circumstances and then to ensure that the person whose hand is involved is that death of the young girl is brought to justice. But that the police now saying the family does not want this, to marry wants that, is pretty obstruct. And with regard to the question of Minister of Work, David Umahi, into one profession of engineering practice. They are just down to many scandals around this kind, from the 5 engineers who died during his tenure as governor to the episode of the destruction of private houses in the economic Lagos Calabar highway. So now this burning issue of a young nurse who died in the residence of the minister, and the way Mr. Umahi narrated transpired in the last weeks of this young girl's life is scary. Like almost as if he was in this room with her when she was supposedly calling her boyfriend, bleeding from the nose, and so on. It makes it a person of law interest, and then very it's not a suspect, but it's a person of interest.
But do you think that it's possible that David Umahi, despite this is a very sensitive time, would David Umahi put himself in such a risk by calling this man? Because this man, after appearing on television, came out to publicly make this statement. So would he be saying this publicly if it were not true? You know, for David Umahi to have identified himself this morning, because the supporters of the government will say that David Umahi is doing the work of the president, and these are those who want the downfall of David Umahi, because as a Southeasterner, he's one of the elites who are supporting the APC or supporting the president. So anything to brandish him in a negative light will be consumed by the opposition. A couple of them believe that nobody should say anything about David Umahi's case, and that it is possible that David Umahi is actually innocent of these crimes. These are the supporters of the government. Anything that has to do with the government, nobody has committed any crime, so they will support it. But is it possible that David will expose himself further, despite the fact that he's being considered as a major suspect in the death of this young girl? Will he embarrass himself further or implicate himself further by doing this, calling this young man and threatening him?
Now, this is the political era, so I will not venture into the young man, sometimes whether it's claiming or whatever. But rather focus more on what David Umahi has said himself.
All right.
What he has said. And what he has said is enough for him to be brought in for questioning. Simple. And whether he did call the young man or not can be subject of debate or negotiation or whatever. But what has he said is such a man will be brought into really say what he knows. Because he said a lot of things that were even conflicting. He said a lot of things that are highly suspicious, that even bring to question his integrity or purpose. So the reality is this. The police have stepped in and stopped all this crowd of people coming up with stories, but they not. And I wouldn't be surprised if the case of the big Biafran President Bola, the facts on ground, which they themselves, in the instance David Umani and narrated, centralizing this more than all against the homicide. So let him go and answer it. Let him go and claim them when we go and public agencies. But if indeed he did call this young man, he can be traced. His number is known.
Yeah.
If I can some other person's number to call. But I want to mention that because it's the realm of ESP.
Yes.
But what is not the realm of ESP is David Umani utterances about this young girl. What's not in the realm of ESP is the fact that David Umani is staff from the Ministry of Health were seconded to his private residence. That the nurse and the physiotherapist are working in the private residence of a minister. It's preposterous in a situation in a country where we know we have very few nurses, very few physiotherapists, and some are in the house of the Minister of Works, not even the Minister of Health, for goodness sake. I mean,
Barbara Chilwell said that Al-Rufai is the one that they know the president very well. They know him quite very close. I'm not using what I need to make because I'll be suggesting something else. But that they do know him, very well. And that they knew how they went about the 2023 elections. So what is that thing El-Rufai did that made El-Rufai sound so confident at the time that Tinubu will not come back in 2027? Because they knew how they went about whatever they did in 2023. Could that be the reason why he's not been given bail? That's one question too. Some Nigerians are saying that El-Rufai is eating the cake that he made himself. He dealt with a lot of southern Kaduna residents. He thought he was so powerful. He was also someone who did not respect the rule of law, and he was extremely brutal. Now, whichever way, if this is karma, then let it go. He shouldn't even be released. He should be done worse. But how would he describe this scenario? What does El-Rufai know that this administration would be afraid to let him go, that in some way or the other he could jeopardize Tinubu's re-election? What exactly did he do? Hello?
The reality is that El-Rufai, whatever he's done in the past is not the issue, but those of us who are under human rights issue, we're really bothered about what he did in the past of them, but perhaps more come out and catching up with him. But the reality is that a man being punished unnecessarily outside the rule of law. The answer is yes, that he deserves justice. He deserves to be released on bail because the crime is said to have committed bailable offenses. Now, this should serve as a warning for Nigerians who lead the arts of political of their leaders to get into office. Because these political leaders or rulers are basically very selfish and will do whatever to preserve themselves. El-Rufai did so much to get Bola Tinubu into office. Now he's suffering the effects of the Bola Tinubu presidency. And this has happened in the past. But this character member leadership, where he is the one that been thrown even one council, all local government chairmen in Lagos have a full obedience to this character. And they say the point. So let us basically note to point to others that whoever is feeding the lion may end up in the lion's mouth. But for now, at the rights of El-Rufai being king, yes. Does he deserve bail? Yes. And some of us who believe in justice, who consider ourselves activists for justice, we will give us petition for him to be released and admitted to bail, despite his activism. And we only hope that when he comes out, he will have learned his lesson. And those who are like him or who want to be like him will also learn their lesson and learn next time that they should be on the side of the constitution.
0817 1756 338. That is the WhatsApp number. Okay, I'll take that again very slowly. 0817 1756 338. That's the WhatsApp number. And the number to call is 0817 080 3692 9933. 080 3692 9933. All right. Hello. Good evening. Hello. Hello. All right. 080 3692 9933. That's the number. Hello. Good evening.
Hello. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. How are you? Welcome.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Sir?
The only area in the north that belongs to the outside, that is something could be of so by the terrorist Fulani people. He doesn't condemn, he doesn't say anything up to today. That is the only area we have that rule in the north that belongs to the outside. It was one of our last years ago. He doesn't say anything. The security system in this country. If at least we will tell ourselves the truth, we should not the Fulani, we are the box, we are the problem of the country, we are the one that doesn't allow the people to go out. If we need peace, if we need peace, Fulani should stop the aggression. If you go, if they allow us to go, to give returns to some of the leaders in the north. I asked them in Kalango, who are those leaders? So I can't say the public. That is why I said, with this problem, all this, if you can't listen, all Kanusi, Sultan, whatever you go, down the day, the other man in Goa, rather than all the acting like the class. You know what the people are doing. Yes, I saw that because I took the letter of him and the music. I told me that song to them, I said I will listen to them. Because I talked to them as an elderly man of 6 years, and they listened to him. They said I should promise them that when I felt fascinated from the music that everything happened, I should tell the person that I said I allowed to prevent it to happen. If I did it, 3-8.
Yes, 3-8. Thank you so much, madam. Yes, Madam Ibrahim, just send me your number or send a text message there now, please. I will call you personally.
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, thank you very much, madam. Thank you, okay? Wow. 080-3692-9933. And your WhatsApp message is 0817-1756-338. Hello, good evening.
Yeah, good evening, Esther.
Good evening, sir. Welcome. Sorry, thank you for waiting on the line.
You for carry this man come to studio. He go send me data. It's very, very bad. Before you know it now, we have entered another year. Before you know, okay.
Yes, now we don't enter August. Yeah, don't end.
Yes. Before you know it, so many people. I can tell you, many Nigeria cannot post of 100. Some Nigeria cannot post of 100,000 in their account. You think I'm lying? Just ask people to call them, they will know. Some people can post of 200,000 naira in their account after they pay house rent, pay everything. Is this life? All Nigerians are doing is just hustle for house rent and eat and train children. That's all. So at least it's supposed to be beyond that. So it's a bit serious. It's so happy. It's really, in fact, I don't know what to say. I'm just useless. So I pray that God will just see us. But what I want to say is that only God, one thing.
Nigeria, and Ghanaian, and Nigerian. So, that the frontier of is accurate and that becomes a Latin in the war. It is so unfortunate that up till now, when they have just thought that the American government wrote a letter, to congratulate the people that are starting insecurity and whatever about that. People are sleeping. Very sleeping. Up to now, it is today. All the work of the president don't have a day. This country, the government,
report and said Nigerians would work with it. Until that happens, let us do a situation where everybody goes their own way. Let's restructure. Let's realign this. Until that, this is what we have.
Okay. So what is the topic? The mayor correct Nigeria to work.
Don't say that Nigeria will not work because of the current situation. I'm saying we should prefer solutions. The reason why we have these conversations is to make it work. And I've always said it, the only way we can have this desire, if we're not comfortable with things, is to press on to our National Assembly members to push at the Senate that the Constitution must be realigned. Whereby, if you say we want to go our separate ways, then we do that without any form of blood being shed.
Yes, I'm just going to listen to them. We say, okay, that victory, one of that person say from where I'm just going to listen.
I cannot kill myself. God give us life. I'm not their leader. If our leader give us life, we are not happy.
Welcome.
God, when I'm sound like this, just look at the way their master people will not be great life. Let me just ask a simple question. You don't hear when Kanu condemn this thing where they going on. You don't hear when our first president condemn this way they going on for not. You don't hear all these leaders, big leaders for not condemn this way they go on. They cannot. There's no solution on this. People they talk say when they carry somebody there, but they know the plus and minus. When we know this info when they going on this country, some people really they benefit for it. Because I cannot know when people wake up for one day just think that take human being life, like their life just concern. But the next time he say these people are killing, he had with peace with them and he have anything. He have he pay me, say God will not forgive anybody way and they pay for this. I know they never kill my people and people poor, but this way they going on. I'm not support, I'm not happy. No matter anything somebody you don't get like you take life maybe
exactly.
Can you get this life back? Okay, now just put it like this. How many times like I would take this? But we get back for nothing like this, we don't come something.
Yes, sir. Please go ahead, sir.
I'm very grateful for you. You remain the voice of the people. Because through you people will be able to separate the conflict and the issues that have for you people.
Thank you, sir.
So guys, every one of you, from you to analysis, well, but not to see people. What we are doing in Nigeria is not different from what happened in Somalia and Sudan. And our prayer is that God should not allow us to be sent to Sudan and Somalia, because Nigeria is looking towards Somalia and Sudan. That is my
it will benefit us, fine. But if some persons don't want it to work, then let's all go to the National Assembly and tell our representatives in the different constituencies to see how we can begin to restructure or see how we can peacefully go our way. That's what I've always said. Because if people don't love themselves and they say they don't longer want to stay together, I mean, then why don't you do the needful in responding to it? But if we want Nigeria to work, we need to talk about making it work. All right? So, Mr. Oyebugod, I really don't know. I know that we're really all going through a lot. But what choice do we have? Some people don't even have their international passports to say they want to go to this airport here to travel out of this country. Don't talk of people going to Cameroon or whatever. So if anything happens, where did they go? They have to stay here. So for now, we have to make it work. Esther, I know Yelesho Ore is your friend. Biko Makachuku. Help me beg him to please consider his aged mother, who is somehow a younger sister to my mom. He should think of his lovely wife and sister, to Nnamdi, former Minister of Science and Technology, to Baja Saga, and now Dave Umahi Therapy Saga, and all the people that surround the president. Square pegs in round holes, all based on party loyalism, not on capacity or competency. That is why we're in this nightmare. All the taxing, the daylight of you, borrowing with billions, what are they using it for? It's just for living their luxurious lifestyle. Very buying, wasteful, unnecessary, and unfruitful traveling that hasn't brought any investors. All they know is lies. eye service, propaganda, hypocrisy. You can't give what you don't have upstairs. It's a shame. The worst of us is really the best of us. Truly, there was a country, Lagos from Lagos. Good evening, Esther. I don't see this country working at all. The best is regional government, even if it will work. Kennedy from Ejibo. Good evening, Esther. Please, are families able to save in this current dispensation? Tony from Agege. So, Tony, I did a calculation of my teacher. It's very true. Nobody said anything. I was even expecting it's well. 08036929933. That's the number to call. 08036929933. And the WhatsApp number is 081717563338. Patrick Mfon from Bushodi says, Esther, good evening. For Atiku Abubakar calling out the government of the day about insecurity in the country now, as the second in command in Nigeria during the Obasanjo government, can he say he does not know the root cause of insecurity in Nigeria? About the maintenance in Nigeria based on his capacity, has he ever condemned any terrorist group in Nigeria? And also, on so many crimes committed against certain individuals in Nigeria, what will he do differently concerning insecurity in Nigeria if elected as president of Nigeria? If this less slogan of ego better is no longer meaningful, and with the deluge of bad news, is it me that is reading out the deluge of bad news I read out every day? How will you protect your mental health, Esther? Ola from Ekpa'S. Oh, Ola. So there's something I always do whenever I finish the show. I cleanse my mental space. I dance. That's the way I just clear out my brain. I just dance, like literally. I dance. I put music in my ears. I don't think of what is going on. That's how I keep myself safe, like literally. That's my escape route mentally. Okay, good evening, Esther. I missed Darlington shouting your name severally. Only free and fair elections can take us out of this bad situation. No regain or snatch it and run. Good evening, Esther. I have come to the conclusion that all the challenges in this country, from insecurity to the hardship, election manipulation to judiciary injustice.
I know this might say. I've said another one.
Okay, I'll try to check for it. Okay.
You see what I want to say? I want to talk about this our country. You see, when in the village, if they want to choose a king, it is the oracle that speaks to the people, that represent the people, choose a king. Now, the oracle used to choose the right king, and after choosing the right king, the village will be going very well, everything will be going okay, no problem, everything will be going. But later, when the rich man come into the midst of the chiefs, then the money started taking hands. Then that is what is happening to Nigeria now. It's with some people that choose to, when they bribe them, they will connected the money. They after connected the money, then you expect bad leaders that cannot take care of anything in this country. That is one apart. Second, I want to talk about this man, the minister.
Yeah, Mr. Nnamdi.
Thank you very much. You see, when God wants to punish somebody, the first thing that God will do is to let him to start his behavior. After he or she starts his behavior, then that is the beginning of the end of that person.
Tell Austin to up his game. This is more than network problem. Thanks from Francis from Uganda. Okay, Francis, I think you have to give me a little break there. Let me change the mic. I've changed the mic. I hope this one is better, that you can hear me. All right. Francis from Iguando, kindly identify me if you can hear me now. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. As